Okie dokie, we're live, we're live, we're live, we're live. Little bit of boxing talk. Big weekend coming up. Saudi Arabia, 5v5 card, Matchroom versus Queensbury, of course. Deontay Wilder versus Zhang. Philippe Hrgovic versus Daniel Dubois. Austin Ammo Williams versus Hamza Shiraz. And Nick Ball versus Raymond Ford. Some really good fights there to look forward to. Some in which I'm finding hard to call. Well, 3 of those 4 fights I mentioned, I'm finding hard to call. But it should be a good card. Dimitri Bivol is also on the card. He is defending his WBA light heavyweight title. Obviously, he was supposed to fight Beterbiev, but Beterbiev pulled out injured. And there is a replacement. Not any well-known fighter, but at least he's staying active, you know. At least he's staying active. But the card itself is very interesting, in my opinion. Very interesting. I have got Zhang over Wilder, but I'm not quite as certain as a lot of people are. You know, neither guy looked good in their last fight against Joseph Parker. Zhang did better, but still, neither guy looked good. It could be a case of who pulls the trigger first. I am favouring Zhili Zhang, though, but we shall see. We shall see. And yeah, Dimitri Bivol is fighting Malik Zinad, who is a fighter from Libya, believe it or not. So yeah, you've got Dimitri Bivol on that card as well. I expect Bivol to win that fight. I've not seen too much of Zinad, but you know, he's no great shakes. He's no great shakes. But yeah, overall, it's a good card. It's a very good card. The only fight I've made a prediction for so far is Wilder versus Zhang. And I've got Zhang by stoppage, rounds 8 or 9, something like that. Hrgovic Dubois, I'm not sure for some reason. I'm not sold on Dubois for obvious reasons. Heart, lack thereof, chin, lack thereof, etc. But I'm not sold on Hrgovic either. For me, he's flattered to deceive in his pro career. I've not really been that impressed with him so far, to be honest. Every time Hrgovic has had a step-up fight, he's struggled. Zhili Zhang, even Dempsey McKean, who's not a great fighter by any means. So I'm not sure how that fight goes. I lean towards Hrgovic, but I'm not entirely sure. Austin Williams versus Hamza Shiraz. I find that one hard to call. I'd probably lean towards Hamza Shiraz, but again, both guys are unproven at the end of the day, so anything can happen. What else do you have? And yeah, Nick Ball versus Ray Ford. I have Ray Ford in that fight on points. That's the only one I'm semi-confident in, I would say. G-Man, Disturbingly Wicked, what's up? How you doing? What's up, Reese? How you doing, bro? Looking forward to the fights. Can't decide between Shiraz and Ammo. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, bro. For me, that fight is between 2 unproven guys. Guys who look like they have potential. They've looked good at a certain level. Also, they've had some trouble at a certain level as well. Let's not forget. But Shiraz is taller. He's longer. You know, likes to snipe from the outside with his straight right hand. He's got a good jab. He's got decent basic fundamentals from the outside. Williams is more of a mid-range / inside pressure guy. Austin Williams reminds me of Errol Spence a little bit stylistically. Southpaw body puncher, likes to crowd the pocket, likes to get up close and do his work. So that's an interesting fight. That's an interesting fight. Oh, you've got Ball over Ford. Interesting. I've seen quite a few people pick Ball. G-Man. Yeah, the Anthony Yarde career path is very strange, bewildering, and frustrating. You know, he could have fought on this card, like you said, but no idea what's going on with Yarde. They're talking about a fight with Buatsi still. I'll believe it when I see it, to be honest. I'll believe it when I see it. That's the fight I want to see most for Anthony Yarde, would be Buatsi. Because from what I've seen of Boazzi in recent fights, I'd give Yarde a real good chance. Yeah, William Zepeda's fighting Cabrera. Yeah, he was the guy who fought Isaac Cruz, and he gave Isaac Cruz a real hard fight. He fight somebody more known. To be honest with you, I'd rather see Zepeda fight somebody more known. But Cabrera's a good fight. I'm kind of waiting for this guy to get his chance. Zepeda, I think he's a very dangerous lightweight, very dangerous. But is he going to get a title shot anytime soon? Probably not. So why not stay active? I guess it's a good fight. At least he's staying active. That's the main thing. That's the main thing. But yeah, I'll take Zepeda in that fight. Cabrera's a good boxer, but he's not a big puncher. I don't think he'll get Zepeda's respect, and I don't think he'll outwork Zepeda. So I've got Zepeda grinding him down. Whether he stops him late or not, I don't know. It's a weird relationship. Do you think Tunde is afraid of Yard getting out on big cards and seeing what's out there in terms of trainers? Think about it. He's only in London, never out in other countries as a sparring partner. It's a good point. He's very insular. Like he's not willing to get out of his comfort zone, kind of thing. Possibly. Outside of Usyk, Fury, Joshua, and Wilder, what do you think is the best heavyweight fight that could be made? Interesting question. Um, that's a great question. I'm not going to say what the best fight is. I'd say what I'd look forward to most. It's hard, man. Outside of those guys you mentioned, what fights are there? Um, I'll say Caballel versus Jared Anderson. Not that it's the best fight out there, but for me, I'd be excited for it. Yeah, at the minute, I'm thinking Spider, Hrgovic, Ford, Shiraz, and Zhang. Yeah, I can't argue with that, Reese. I can't argue with it. Anybody seen recent Bevo interviews? Something doesn't look right with him. No, I haven't. I haven't seen any recent interviews from Bevo. What do you mean it doesn't look right? We'll see. I'll take a look in a sec. Yeah, I hope the way. Sorry, I hope Zepeda's career doesn't go stagnant like Munguia's did under Golden Boy. Yeah, for me, Zepeda, he seems to be on the threshold of taking a real big step up fight, but it hasn't quite happened yet. It hasn't quite happened. He looks okay to me, by the way. Welsh Mertz. Maybe I'm not seeing it. Isaac Chamberlain's been in camp with Usyk. Lots of fighters with limited amateur background do the sparring partner stuff to get them out of their comfort zone. Yarde is mid-30s and it's only London. Yeah, I think Yarde never really realised his full potential. I'm not saying he would have been a world champion, but I think if he shopped around for a better trainer, I certainly think he'd be better off for it. Yo, what's up, Lee? How you doing? Yeah, I know. Yeah, with Bebo, yeah, his wife made some claims. Yeah, but like you said, it never really came to anything. Okay, yeah, I noticed the black eyes. He looks tired and shit, but maybe it's just the fact he's cutting weight. Hard training camp, hard sparring. We'll see, man. We'll see. I don't really see no noticeable difference apart from, like you said, bags under the eyes. Maybe he's just tired. Maybe he just flew there. Interestingly, I'm not a big fan of Adam Booth, but I agree, G-Man. I think I think Adam Booth would have been a good fit for Yard, given Yard's explosiveness, his speed, his power, his athletic ability. That's where Adam Booth excels with those sort of fighters. So I can see that. Wilder's left eye's looking a bit bruised and swollen too. Interesting. See, I've not really been paying attention to the build up, I'll be honest. I'm looking forward to that fight though, Zhang versus Wilder. I'm looking forward to it. That could be a who lands first type of fight. I think Wilder, from his perspective, needs to take risks early on, to be honest. Neither guy has a great gas tank, but I feel the longer that fight goes, it favours Zhang. Because Wilder's got to compete with such a heavier guy. And if Zhang moves him around or gets on top of him, I'd assume Wilder gasses first. So for me, I think Wilder needs to take risks in that fight. I think he needs to take risks. 5v5 predictions. Craig Richards beats Willie Hutchinson. Rayford defeats Nick Ball on points. Zhang knocks out Wilder late. Williams versus Shiraz, I'm not sure yet. Dubois Hrgovic, I'm not sure yet. Can you imagine actually? Can you imagine if one of these promoters, so it's Matchroom versus Queensbury, if one goes 5-0, like it's a complete write-off, like a complete wipeout. Can you imagine? I think it's too late for Yard now as well, personally. The way Wilder's been talking in the interviews, he's hungry and wants it again. Yeah, but he said that before the Parker fight, man. We'll see how he feels when he's taken a couple of right hooks or straight lefts. You know, big punches, really, Zhang. I think Richards wins. Richards, to me, is what he is. I think he's a solid European level light heavyweight. Tough guy, good chin, big engine. You know, he's okay across like every aspect, but he's not great. But he's an okay fighter. Willie Hutchinson to me is fragile. He was knocked out at 168 by Lennox Clark quite badly as well. He's one of those fighters who looks flashy on pads. He looks flashy against bums, but for one time he had resistance. He failed badly, you know. And I don't think a Lennox Allen type would beat Craig Richards. I just think Richards is a tougher guy personally, but I don't know. Yo, Albanian guy, it could happen, man. Zhang hits fucking hard. I don't think they do, David. Like, I don't think so. Me personally, I guess it's perception, but for me personally, I don't think Dubois Hrgovic has a clear favourite. I don't think Wilder Zhang has a clear favourite. They have favourites like any fight, but I don't think there's a clear favourite in those fights. Shiraz Williams to me is a 50-50. Yeah, Hutchinson. Yeah, I favour Richards. And Ball versus Ford, I'd favour Ball, but there's some good fights there. Yeah, Turkey may have got to Wilder. Yeah, he may have told Wilder to sell it. Yeah, last one on Yard. If Tunde was so good of a trainer, how come fighters go nowhere near him? That is interesting. You look at most guys Tunde's trained. He started with them. Before Yard, it was O'Hara Davis. But yeah, you're right. Very rarely does somebody go to Tunde as like an established pro. And you do. That's a good point. You have to ask yourself a question: why is that? Maybe he's got a bad reputation around boxing circles. I don't know. But you're right. It's a good point. I can't call it, bro. I'm still debating. I'm leaning towards Hrgovic, but I'm not sure. I'm not as sure as most. Lee Talks Boxing. I've got Wilder by knockout, Shiraz by knockout, Hrgovic by TKO, Ford by UD, Summer close vote. Yeah, I can see all of those, bro. I'd favor Zhang over Wilder, but I can see Wilder catching him. Josh Taylor versus Chris Congo next. No way, bro. No way. Taylor should really retire unless he can't get a big domestic fight. It's because of the lions in the camp. Lions in the camp. That's one point, David. Yeah, Hrgovic's better chin could very well be the difference against Dubois. Yeah, Hrgovic does have a good chin. John Fury's a legend in the 2 millimeter tar community. Yeah, if Wilder wins, they'll likely do the Joshua fight next. It's easily the biggest fight, even without a belt. Yeah, I'd agree. I'd agree. I'd still watch it as well. I take Joshua to knock him out, but I'd still watch it. Yeah, Dubois is a strange character. I've made my feelings clear on Dubois in the past. I don't really want to rehash them, but for me, he's one of those people. He comes across as the type of guy who never really had many social interactions growing up because the story was his father really pushed him hard in boxing, was like a disciplinarian, and he probably missed out on a lot of things that we experienced as kids, like social experiences, and that kind of shines through in his personality. But he could be on the spectrum as well. Could be a combination. It could be a combination. I don't think he's a bad guy though. You know. Yeah, I mentioned this in my prediction video, David. The fact that Zhang comes in at like 280, 290, whereas Wilder at his highest you would imagine would be 230. It's a crazy weight difference. That's why I think Wilder needs to risk it early on because although both guys have bad gas tanks, as this fight plays out, Wilder is going to he's going to have to carry Zhang's weight around in the clinches, etc. And that's going to tire him out quicker. So I think Wilder needs to go for it early and try and bomb him out in 3 or 4 rounds. Wilder needs to treat this as a last chance saloon because it is. It is. And he needs to go in there and really try to score that knockout. Wilder's getting trounced. He's got awful. Beat nobody. You could very well be right. You could very well be right, Wizard Sleeve. I'm favouring Zhang. Every baby has a daddy, and I'm going to beat you like I'm your daddy. Never mind the follow up. He was, yeah, bro, Dubois, man, yeah. Dubois' trash talk is something else, isn't it? Zhang within 4 rounds could happen. Honestly, that's that fight. That's that sort of fight where I wouldn't really be surprised whatever way it went. The only outcome I'd be surprised about is like Wilder on points. But aside from that, it could go anyway, and I wouldn't be surprised. Wilder looks to have come in bigger this time. Not a good idea for him, in my opinion. I agree. Wilder's going to catch him. Well, this is the last chance. It's his last chance. Yeah, to be fair, focus on creativity. I do need to check out Zinad. I know on paper it doesn't look great. I know he's got an unbeaten record, but he's beat nobody. But he could be one of these diamonds in the rough type of fighters. So I would need to check him out. Um, but on paper, you look at it and you'd think, yeah, you'd want to see Bebo make a statement on paper. But again, I'm not going to commit to it because I haven't watched him with my own eyes. I've only seen like a couple of clips here and there. I need to see more. Wilder looks like a beaten man. He's there for a nice payday. He could be. He could be. I got Zhang between rounds 5 and 8. I can see it. I've got 8 or 9, something like that. Who do I think Marku should fight next? Bro, I've got no idea. Maybe try and get a rematch with Chris Congo. Try and avenge it, I guess. I agree, David. Yeah, I think Zhang has more scope to take the shots than Wilder does. Because we have seen big punchers hit hit Zhang. Like Parker can punch a bit, and Zhang took those shots pretty well. Joe Joyce can punch a little bit. Zhang took those shots well. Whereas Wilder, you feel like when he gets touched, he'll get hurt. Got knocked out by a guy in Fury who is not the biggest puncher in the world. Got badly hurt by Joseph Parker. Again, not the biggest puncher in the world. Got badly hurt by Luis Ortiz. When Wilder gets caught clean, you think he's going to get hurt. Yeah, I think Taylor's washed as well. You got Wilder, yeah, interesting. It's a brave pick, Saint. It's a brave pick in my opinion. I think it's a brave pick, but I can see why. I can see why somebody would want to risk it on Wilder. If I was a betting man, I'd put money on Wilder just because, because of the profits. But how crap is Alan Babbage? Alan Babbage he's a level above area level, in my opinion. He's probably like English level. He's not that great. I've met Zhang in person, and he is big. His head looks thicker than the average skull. I reckon he'll take a good shot. Yeah, and the only reason he got hurt by Jerry Forrest was because he was so tired in that fight. But every time, for the most part, we've seen this guy get caught, and he's taken it well. I know he got dropped early in his career, but it was really early, and I don't think he was hurt from my recollection. I think it was a balance thing. That was against a journeyman called Wan Good, but this was years ago. And from my memory, I don't think he was hurt that badly. I think it was a balance thing. Fisher versus Babbage will end up in a tear up. Bro, I think Fisher's too big. I don't even rate Fisher like that, but I think Fisher is too big. What's up, Kenwell? How you doing, bro? I may drop a link in a bit. I'm not sure. I may drop a link in a bit. What excuse will Wilder make this time? He's now saying that Parker is an average fighter and only beat him because of inactivity. It's just delusions of grandeur, isn't it? I think a fighter has to tell himself that if he gets beat. Well, a lot of fighters do that anyway, right? I think it's just one of those things, man. Yeah, Babbage versus Fisher will be a fun fight. Fisher isn't great, but he'll win. I feel for Fisher. No one comes to see him. They come for his dad. Johnny just comes across as an NPC. Yeah, I agree. Bro, Joyce versus Chisora is a fucking shambles of a fight. Chisora, bro, he's about 3 right hooks away from a fucking nursing home, that guy. The amount of poundings he's taken matches Omaha Beach. He's got no business in there with Joe Joyce. Because the worst thing about Joe Joyce is he's not the one punch guy. He grinds you down, he beats you up. And Chisora is too tough for his own good, even now. So he's going to take a pasting in that fight, and it's going to be worse for him. I'd rather see him get knocked out in a couple of rounds. Save a punishment. He's going to take a pasting against Joe Joyce. That fight fucking sucks. David, go back and listen to an interview from Chisora from around 2010, 2011, 2012, and listen to Derek Chisora now. It's night and day. It's night and day. I agree, Wizard Sleeve. I agree. He's only got power. I witnessed Joe Joyce's last fight in the flesh, and I know he's always been slow, but I couldn't believe how slow he actually was. People say Chisora should retire, but it's too late. The CTE has already set in. May as well become the next Danny Williams, bro. But you know the trip is though with a guy like Chisora, in 10 years' time, you're going to see documentaries on YouTube with titles like "The Tragic Downfall of Derek Chisora." How could boxing let this happen? When you complain about it now, oh, he can fight, he can make his own decisions. It's like, but the same people in 10 years are going to be virtue signaling about how he's a vegetable. You know, with the IQ of a cabbage. Oh, it's so sad. I'll still I'm not gonna pay for it. What's up? JD, salute. I don't think Haney should retire, but no, I don't think he should retire. Speaking of Devin Haney, have you guys seen that documentary going around on YouTube? I think it's called like the Devin Haney Deception or something like that. Have you guys seen that documentary? I think it's called the Haney Deception, something along those lines. And it was interesting, but like most of it is shit people like me have been saying for years about Devin Haney. But it was interesting about the rehydration, about the weight, about the fact this guy is basically a deception. It's like boxing has forced him on us, gave him every possible advantage. This is another thing with Devin Haney, speaking of that documentary. Like when Maurizio Sulaiman straight up on camera said, "We've been supporting you since the amateurs." Like, what does that even mean? What does that even mean? Then there's all this like mystery about his fights in Mexico and shit. Devin Haney was a media creation or a media project. Good fighter. Not saying he's like a complete bum or anything like that. But Devin Haney, without politics, would be seen as a B-level fighter. That's the reality. He'd be seen as a B-level fighter. Because an A-star level fighter doesn't go life and death with Jojo Diaz with a 25-pound weight advantage. This is just the reality. Relying on a gift decision against a blown-up, past his prime featherweight. Then getting bust by a guy in Ryan Garcia who's a left hook and a right hand. Well, a left hook. But people were calling this guy the next Floyd Mayweather and a pound-for-pound level talent. But boxing falls for this shit all the time. 10, 12 years ago, the boxing media were putting Adrian Broner as top 6 pound for pound. In 2012, this was actually. Broner is top 5, top 6 pound for pound. These are boxing writers. These are supposed to be like the custodians of boxing. They are supposed to be educating us. But I've been saying this for years about Devin Haney. He is a overrated fighter, like dramatically so. Probably one of the most overrated fighters in the last 10 years of boxing. And a guy who is primarily where he is because of politics. I don't feel like I don't feel like it's an opinion. No, I get you, man. But I don't believe in that sort of shit, man. But the whole karma shit, I don't believe in karma. I think most of the next generation of heavyweights needs to start relying on speed and fundamentals and not rely on size. I agree. Zhang's a big stationary target, but that said, he's a very good counterpuncher. I make him a 60-40 favourite over Wilder, but you can't rule out Wilder. I pretty much agree, JD. I'd say 70-30 in favour of Zhang, but I feel the same. I just think it confirms what I've been saying about, and not just me, many people have been saying about Haney for many years. The only thing that I didn't really grasp was the pro-grade situation, where the California State Athletic Commission has a rehydration policy where you can only rehydrate 15% over what you weigh in. So if you weigh in at 140, you can weigh in at like, I think is it 20 pounds more, whatever? Or 18 or 16 pounds more, I think it is. And yeah, Devin Haney blew it by like 5 pounds and shit like that. I never realized that. Yeah, I know, right? His brother randomly said, I think Ryan's going to fail a drug test, and he did. It depends, bro. It depends. Most of my videos get demonetized on the other channel, Ryan. Sulaiman is probably a nonce. He's a strange character. Yeah, exactly, bro. Devin Haney is literally the opposite of pound for pound. But the issue is, Grant, most people don't know what pound for pound means. That's the issue. These are the same people who were putting Josh Taylor as pound for pound 3 or 4 years ago. You're not pound for pound if you always rely on a size advantage. I don't care how good your resume looks. One thing I know, Lee, whether Prograis took a dive or not, who knows? What I do know is it wasn't Prograis we're used to seeing. For whatever reason, he could just be shot. There is that. But I agree. I know what you're saying. Do I think Ryan Garcia intentionally cheated? I'm not sure, bro. I think all of these guys do it. Yep, I remember the Broner hype clearly. It was vomit-inducing. HBO were propping the guy up like he was the next Sugar Ray Robinson. Bro, people forget these things, though. Paul, people forget these things. And but the thing is, though, at least I understood it with Broner. I can understand how a network would look at Broner and say, do you know what? This guy could be a star. Let's push him to the moon. I could understand it with Broner from a sheer marketing perspective. With Haney, I don't get it. The guy's not entertaining. He's not engaging. He's got a beta style. He's just dull in every aspect. He can't sell tickets. I never understood the push behind Devin Haney. Never. I never understood it. Because the guy can't sell boxing. If you're talking to somebody and you get talking about sports and shit and you mention you like boxing, and the guy says, "Oh, I kind of want to get into boxing. Who should I watch?" Nobody in their right mind is going to say Devin Haney. Nobody in their right mind. Usyk's up there, David. Usyk has to be pound for pound, in my opinion. Usyk is pound for pound number one, in my opinion. When he beat a guy 40 pounds bigger, 6 inches taller, with God knows what in reach. I agree, Kenwell, but I'd even put Andre Ward above Devin Haney, to be honest. Like, Andre Ward, despite him being a cheater, had ability. We saw that in the Carl Froch fight. As much as I dislike Ward, like, he beat Froch pretty clean with one hand. He could box Andre Ward, but he resorted on cheating so much. I agree, Lee. I agree. Ryan wasn't even that impressive in that fight. Haney was landing most of the punches, but his glass chin cost him a little bit like CBS versus Okole. Yeah. It's a very kind mandatory AMG fresh. After being rocked about by a puncher, you fight a guy in Sandor Martin who can't punch and barely throws punches. Haney UD. It'll be a boring fight, cure for insomnia, and people are going to proclaim it was a masterclass by Devin Haney. Devin Haney's back. I can see it now. I want to see Devin get cracked again. Put him in there with Matias. That's what I want to see. I agree, Colin, but again, people overrate him as well. Sandor Martin. Oh, we beat Tio. No, he didn't. He never beat Teofimo. And I don't like Teofimo, but he lost that fight. Running around like a complete fairy. Didn't win the fight. Tio landed the harder shots. He was the aggressor. Yeah, Tank's gonna... Bro, it's gonna be your typical Tank Davis fight. Frank Martin will have success early on. He will win rounds, in my opinion. And then by 6 or 7, he gets stopped. It's going to be your typical Tank fight. We'll see Tank's deficiencies early on when Frank Martin is boxing. And then Frank Martin gets stopped. That's it. Sandor Martin's a small Hispanic version of Johnny Nelson, bro. His fights are so boring. So boring. His boxing display versus Mikey wasn't bad, but that was Mikey half cooked. You know, he was he had one foot out of the door, so to speak. But yeah, he's not good to watch. I agree, Hand History Vault. I agree. He is a media creation largely, Devin Haney. I will give Haney the credit that he trains hard. He seems to be a professional, but he's not that great, Devin Haney. He's not that great. Yeah, that was a weird fight. Zala Abdullayev made Haney look like a puncher. Bro, David, this is another one. Speaking of, we're on a trend of overrated fighters. Kambosos was another one. When I said that directly after the Teofimo fight, oh, you're a hater. He just beat Teofimo. He's great. I said then, Kambosos was in the right place at the right time. Teofimo is a mentally fragile individual. He was going through a bad time, in my opinion, and I felt Kambosos caught him at the right time. I said that then, prior to his fight with Devin Haney, when he was supposed to be fighting Lomachenko. I said then, this guy's going to get butchered. Oh, you're hating. He's a great fighter. He's undisputed. Because belts make a fighter better all of a sudden. Kambosos was in the right place at the right time. He was always overrated. Hence why he was going life and death with a blown up featherweight in Lee Selby and a shot Mickey Bay. Then goes life and death with Maxi Hughes, then gets butchered by Lomachenko after getting completely outboxed by Devin Haney. Always been overrated. Always been overrated. But when you said that at the time, oh, you're hating. And now look, the form proves that point right. Overrated. This is a big problem with modern boxing. One guy gets one good win, and he's the next coming of Christ. How about put some results together? How about fight top competition after top competition? Then we'll see. Like Usyk, for example. Then we'll see. Johnny Nelson made Lawrence Okolie look like Tommy Hearns. Bro, Lawrence Okolie knocked out Rosansky this past weekend. Looked a little better with more weight on him. How he made cruiserweight, I'll never know, by the way. Larry, what's up, bro? I feel like we're hating a bit too much. Gary Antoine Russell fighting Albert Puello for the vacant WBC interim title. Yeah, Russell should win that fight. Russell should win. But hopefully, if Russell wins, then maybe he could fight Haney. That'd be a good fight. I've got no idea, David. I've got no idea, but that's what I want to see from Okolie now. Maybe have a few fights at Bridgerweight, then go to heavyweight, see what we have. Maybe he can adjust his style at heavyweight. Yeah, Ward conveniently retired after shafting Kovalev. Adonis Bivol and Beterbiev all whoop him, yeah. Well, he never wanted the Adonis Stevenson fight. Yeah, bro, it was yeah. Yeah, I mean, how he made cruiserweight is unreal. Yeah, boxing fans have no objective standard. Fury was unbelievable a year ago. Now he's an absolute bum, apparently. Yeah, that's boxing, though. That's boxing. I always felt Fury was overrated going into the Usyk fight, but overrated in the sense of his current career standing and recent form. Like, the amount of people giving Usyk no chance to me was crazy. Miguel Full Productions, what's up? Big bad fighting man John Fury. Yep, no man alive can beat my son Tyson. He's an hard man. Yeah. Lawrence Okolie, for as bad as he is and as ugly as his style is, does have some very real attributes. We have to say that. Like, he's 6'5", he's big, he hits hard. He does have some attributes, to be fair. Bro, Okole's a lot bigger naturally than Usyk. He's a lot bigger. I'd say a healthy Okole probably walks around at like mid-230s. Bro, Rafael Espinoza at 126. He's like 6 foot tall, AMG. He's massive. And that's why he beat Robeisy Ramirez, because if those guys were the same size, Robeisy Ramirez would butcher him, right? But, size matters in boxing. Yeah, Fury's a great fighter, but his antics outside the ring is not good. I agree. I saw Okole at a weigh-in, and I was about 220, walking at the same height, and he was broader than me. Yeah, it's crazy how these guys make weight. It's crazy. What the fuck was that? Bro, my fucking bathtub made a weird fucking noise. What the fuck? That's crazy. What the fuck is going on? Can you guys hear that? 1 second. What the fuck is going on? Sorry about that. Not sure what that was. Yeah, bro, every single fucking Okole fight. Oh, he used to work at McDonald's, but now owns a franchise. Yeah, fucking joke, innit? He's got physical ability, Okole. I don't say he's got boxing talent or boxing ability or anything like that, but he's got physical attributes. Who's got a worse chin, Alan Babbage or Dylan Babbage or Dillian? Yeah, Babbage. Because Dillian has taken heavy shots from world-class heavyweights. Yeah, he's been knocked out, but you can't put Babbage's chin on the same level. His chin is much worse. Yeah, he is, bro. Rafael Espinoza is like he is the Fundora of 126. Canelo Crawford, not interested personally. Give me Canelo Benavidez. I'm looking forward to a few of the fights on this weekend's card. Ammo Williams versus Hamza Shiraz, 2 prospects going at it at middleweight. That'll be a good fight. Middleweight needs some new blood, so I'm kind of interested in that fight. Wilder Zhang obviously is a good one. I am looking forward to it. Hrgovic Dubois, I'm really looking forward to. Past this weekend, what else is out there, man? I don't even know what's happening. I don't know what's coming up, I'll be honest. I don't even know what's coming up. I'm a casual these days, man. I feel like a casual. No, Virgil Ortiz versus Tim Tszyu is probably my favorite fight on the schedule. I think that's my favorite fight on the schedule. So yeah, there's some fights coming up. I think he'll do well at heavyweight, Opetaya. I think he'll do well. It could be a blockage. Yeah, I'll have to sort it out. I've done plumbing before. I'd have to work it out. Yeah, Usyk is pretty thick. Pause, but he is the Phantom from Ghostbusters. He didn't look great, Opetaya, but people forget though, David. Like, people forget how good Briedis was. Like, he wasn't just some belt holder. He's a very good cruiserweight, Briedis. And I think going into it, Opetaya had a lot more respect for Briedis than he did even first time around because of what happened in that first fight. Maybe early on, I think Opetaya was guilty of having too much respect for Briedis when Briedis was rusty. I think maybe if Opetaya put it on Briedis early on, he could have got something going, when Briedis was rusty. but he allowed Briedis to warm up. And the last sort of 4 rounds were pretty testing for him. Yeah, Ammo Williams versus Shiraz is interesting, but I think Shiraz wins it pretty comfortably. Frank Warren times it when his fighters step up just right most of the time. Yeah, he's got a lot of faith in Hamza Shiraz. And I like what I see from Shiraz in terms of like, obviously he's big for the weight, but he uses that size pretty well. He's got a really good jab. He gets people on the end of it. He's got a good knack of throwing straight punches and catching fighters at the end of those punches. So he generates full power on straight shots. He's got good solid fundamentals, Shiraz. What I'm not sure about with Shiraz is the chin, personally. He's been dropped before, and he does square up at times. It's an interesting fight. I think Ammo might surprise Shiraz. The safest distance is up close, and I'm not sure about his chin. Yeah, I'm not sure about his chin either. Top 5 moments when boxers or MMA fighters get humbled. Broner losing to Maidana. Conor losing to Khabib. Fury losing to Usyk. I'm going to put that up there. Hay losing to Klitschko. Even though I liked David Hay, but still, I'll put it in there as well. 5. What about number 5? Number 5. I'm not sure about number 5. Maybe Wilder losing to Fury because of all the the aftermath. I'd say Wilder losing to Fury as well. Yeah, he's fighting Liam Paro. That's a good fight. That's going down in Puerto Rico. Paro's a good fighter. But Liam Paro reminds me of the guys Matthias has been fighting. So unbeaten guys who are dangerous and risky, but guys who are not known. We've seen Matthias in there with these sort of guys previously, and he's always come through. And I expect the same in this fight. The thing is, though, he'll get no credit for winning a fight like this because nobody really knows who Liam Paro is outside of us hardcores. You know, because Matthias doesn't really get credit for beating guys like Ergashev or Junkumbayev, for example, you know? Plums MILFs. It's your matted pubes, maybe. Tyson Fury stuck in your U-bend. Honestly, you might be right because you could be right. Briedis was, if he could have started quicker, man, maybe we're talking about a different fight. Yeah, it was a good fight, Raymond Ford versus Kolmatov. Very good fight. I had Kolmatov winning up until the stoppage, and I was impressed with Ray Ford's ability to pick it up. I liked the aggressive adjustment. I think he's a much better natural boxer than Nick Ball. Nick Ball is good at what he does, but he only fights in one way, which is forwards, hooks to the side, hooks around the side, hooks to body, you know, chopping overhand right. He likes to crowd you. He likes to swarm you. He's a bit like Sean Porter in a way, not afraid to get roughhouse. I think Ray Ford should win. I think he's got more tools in his toolbox, so to speak. The issue with Ray Ford is he does get drawn into fights. Not only did we see that with Kolmatov, but we saw it with early in his career against Edward Vasquez. And that fight he arguably lost to Vasquez. So I give Nick Ball a puncher's chance, but I take Ford on points. I think Ford on points is the safe bet. Personally, maybe you'd hedge it with Ball by knockout. I never saw much of Spencer Oliver. He was before my time, JD. He was before my time. I know he was a European champion. I think so as well, Colin. I think he'll be too crafty for Nick Ball. Vladimir versus Usyk, prime for prime. I think Usyk would have a better chance of beating Vladimir more so than Vitali. I think Usyk would stand a better chance of offsetting Vladimir, whereas Vitali was a lot more unorthodox than his brother. His style was completely different to Vlad. I'll never understand why people. Obviously, I understand it because they're brothers, but I never get it when people compare Vlad and Vitali in terms of style. People talk like they were one and had one style. Vitali's style was much different. Lean back, low hands. He could jab from the waist. The jab was very hard to read. He could punch at angles. His footwork was excellent. I think Vitali's a much harder fight for Usyk. I think he'd lose to Vitali. Vladimir, if he can evade the power, I think he'd outpoint Vladimir. I totally agree. It could happen, Mark. It could happen. Matchroom will lose all 5 bouts. Nah, having said that, the only one I don't see them losing is the Craig Richards one. But they could go 4-1. They could lose 4-1, conceivably, in my opinion. I think Eubank Jr. is being Eubank Jr., waiting for one big payout. That's all he ever does. He's looking for one big payout fight, cash out. Probably against Conor Benn. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Gary Antoine Russell, talented fighter by all means, but when did he last fight? I don't even remember his last fight. I can't help it, but I like David Haye for beating up Chisora and Don Charles. He glassed me. Zhang's going to massacre Captain Jack Sparrow's Captain Jack Sparrow legs. That's a new one for Wilder. Matthias crucifies Haney. I agree. Haney can't keep him off. Unless they drain Matthias and put a rehydration clause on him. Yeah, they're not beating Matthias. I can't see it. I can't see Haney winning that fight. Who do I have going undisputed at 140 or 147? 147, I've got no idea. Probably Ennis, because he's the only guy there right now. 140, either Tio or Matthias. Don Charles has a very high IQ, if you say so. Yeah, Hrgovic was a good win. Yeah, I agree. Beat the fuck out of him and made him quit. Yeah. I heard a lot about it. Yeah. I heard about this podcast with George Groves and Ian John Lewis, but I've not seen it. I heard he made a fool of himself. I am the referee. That's a good point as well, Seagull. Yeah. I don't see anybody fighting Matthias's leftovers, but people say they're bums. Yeah. That's a good point. It's a good point. Okay, so in terms of trash talkers losing, Scott Quigg losing to Carl Frampton, Hearn was at his villainous peak on Sky Sports, and when the cards were read out, he looked like somebody who had ate his plate. Bro, that fight was so disappointing, though, because people forget again, Scott Quigg versus Carl Frampton was talked about for at least 5 years before it happened. About 5 years. And it took so long to get made. People were super excited for it, and it was such a shit fight. Such a shit fight. Yeah, someone's going to catch ball throwing those crazy lunging hooks and spark him. I agree. Yeah, I agree. He was very reckless against Ray Vargas. But Vargas can't really punch. And because he's so tall and lanky and uncoordinated, he couldn't really shorten his shots to catch ball coming in. But I think Ray Ford has a bit more creativity to his work. So I expect him to walk him into shots. I've only seen highlights of Bruce Carrington, but he looks good from what I've seen. I've not like sat down and watched his full fights, but he looks solid. He looks solid. Yeah, Nick Ball too small to beat Ford. I agree. I like Ford, but he seems like he's becoming a diva and an Amaro bum. So I'm pulling for Ball. But yeah, Ford is the safe bet. I pretty much agree. Yeah, Vitali bullies Usyk, but Vlad struggles a bit. I agree. Who is the best British pound for pound boxer right now? I'm struggling with that one. Well, so am I, bro. Now you've said it. So am I. Who is the best British boxer pound for pound? I don't even know. I don't even know. It's slim pickings. Yeah, but I agree, Colin. People get shit wrong, Brian. People get shit wrong. I've had some bad predictions over the years. Vitali beats Usyk. I agree. Yeah, they can't have watched each brother fight. Yeah, apart from being like both 6'7" and looking like each other, they don't fight anything similar to each other. Yeah, Vladimir versus Usyk would depend on how much holding the ref let Vladimir do. There's that as well. Usyk beats Vlad. I think I'd give him a very good chance. Yeah, Vitali was more of a slugger with skills, whereas Vladimir was a sheer out boxer because he had had no chin. Yeah, Vitali in terms of skill was very good, man. Very good. People talk about how well Fury moves for his size. Look at Vitali back in the day. Vitali could move so well, and he could move and he could move his hands well. He had very good reactions with his lean back style. Vitali's style, fundamentally, in many ways, was wrong. Like a lot of trainers, if you tried that style, would shout you down if you tried Vitali's style, but he made it work. But he could get around the ring very well, move quickly, good reactions, like I said, good variation in his punches, combinations for a big man, punches in bunches, could fight at, he could create angles. I wish somebody with more know-how would make like a tactical breakdown of Vitaly Klitschko. Craig Richards has a 5 head. He's got a 10 head, bro. Yeah, I remember that was a bad knockout as well, Colin. You can't see Hrgovic losing to Dubois under any circumstances. I guess we shall see. I don't trust Hrgovic. I've not been impressed with him, but I don't trust Dubois either. So make of that what you will. That's why I like the fight, though. Okay, so 2023 was Gary Antoine Russell's last fight. We're nearly halfway through 2024. I'd make that fight, JD. If Josh Taylor's going to stick around, why not a domestic payday with Conor Benn at 147 if Conor Benn gets his license back? Yeah, okay, so Hrgovic beats the fuck out of Dubois in a fan-friendly fight. I think he's got more dog. But yeah, Hrgovic is 10 pounds too heavy. It's an interesting fight. Yeah, bro, Subriel, I think, would beat down Haney. He's too resilient, brings too much pressure. I don't think Haney can get his respect, to be honest. I honestly feel that Pitbull might move down to 135. He's just not that big enough for 140. I have that feeling, but hopefully he doesn't, as there's a lot of good fights for him at 140. I agree, yeah. Bro, again, chuck him in there with Matthias. Great fight. But I think PBC are going to keep him about and try to feed that title to somebody else, maybe tanking a rematch. maybe tanking a rematch. I agree. I've got Ford on points. I think Ford on points is the smart pick on that one. What's up, Bruce? Yeah, I'm not either really. He's good at what he does to a certain level. Nick Ball, he's a tough guy. He's got decent power. He's a swarmer, but he's severely undersized in terms of height and reach, and he does the same thing over and over again. You know, if you're at a certain level, you should beat Nick Ball. That's the reality. Nick Ball reminds me of a lesser version of Sean Porter at that weight class, basically. I think Joshua versus Dubois would do okay on pay-per-view because it's Joshua, right? It'll do okay. Benavidez versus Vodsic should be fun. That's another fight I'm looking forward to, actually. Benavidez, Vodsic, good fight. Good fight. I think Vodsic is a banana skin for Benavidez. I really do. I don't think he's done yet. I don't think he's done yet. You know, he's not at his prime anymore, don't get me wrong, but he's not a shot fighter either. He can still hit very hard. We've not seen Benavidez in there with anybody who hits as hard as Vodsic, not remotely so. And Benavidez does get hit, so it'll be interesting to see how he takes that power. If Vodsic lands a few shots on him, lines him up with that straight right, it's going to be interesting. Yeah, Frank Sanchez to me looked injured. Brian, he was moving very strange. Yeah, David Jimenez. Yeah, he beat Scrappy Ramirez. Yeah, good win for him. Yeah, he completely bossed him. He's a decent fighter though. He gave Delakian a good fight a couple of years ago. He's a decent fighter, not like an elite fighter, but he's a solid guy. Good all rounder, I'd say. Yeah, exactly, Larry. Like people are going to get fights wrong. If you make like prediction videos on YouTube, you're going to get some wrong. The only difference is like people can see them. I've never understood that kind of mindset where people like clown people who make bad predictions or make a wrong prediction, because if you were that great yourself, you'd be fucking rolling in it. You'd be rolling in dough. You'd be doing it full time. You wouldn't need a job if you was that great at making predictions, right? You'd be rolling in money. I think he'd beat a prime Prince Nazim on points. He'd just have to avoid a singular power shot. Yeah, Wilder whines about ring rust, but Vitali came back and after 4 years and dominated Sam Peter. Yeah, I don't think it's outside the realms of possibility. Big say so. A lot of people are like totally writing Dubois off, and I get it. Considering what we've seen from Dubois when things get tough, I get it. But people are acting like Hrgovic has gone through his career and been this dominant force. He hasn't. He's looked suspect in a couple of fights now. And fair enough, the Zhili Zhang fight, you can say, well, Zhili Zhang was better than we thought. Fair enough. Okay, cool. Dempsey McKean wasn't. And go and watch that Dempsey McKean fight. Hrgovic looked distinctly average. Dubois is a new man since he finally lost his virginity. Yeah, someone's saying Dubois got a bird these days. Apparently he does. But yeah, Dubois got a lot of good in him, but just don't know if he can really bite down. That's the issue with Dubois. I'd say maybe about 270 for Zhili Zhang. I think he'll be like 280 maybe. JD. He was 291 in his last fight against Parker. He was about 288 against Joyce the second time. And I think in the first Joyce fight, he was low 280s. I'll say low 280s. I agree, Colin. I agree. It'll be interesting to see what happens if Vodzik, when he lands cleanly, because he will. Unless he gets blown out early, he's going to land on Benavidez. And again, I have to stress, we've never seen Benavidez get hit by a puncher. Plant can't punch. Andrade can't punch. Lemieux can punch, but he was shot to bits and never really landed. We've never seen him get hit by a puncher. And I like Benavidez, as you guys know, but I think it's a risky fight. Do I see an upset in the Benavidez fight? So listen, I favor Benavidez because of obvious reasons, younger, fresher guy. But if Vodzik landed a shot and hurt Benavidez and stopped him, would I be shocked? Not really. There's that as well. Yeah, Vodzik's not a small light heavyweight. He's not gigantic, but he's not small either. And there's this as well. Yeah, Vodzik is pretty much the same size. David always fought smaller guys. Yeah, it's a risky fight. Haney fanboys are hilarious. Somebody posted a clip saying, against Linares, saying this punch selection is elite. And it was all soft tapping jabs. Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, David is definitely favourite, and rightly so. I'd favour him to win, and I agree, Vodzik is past his prime, but I don't think he's shot either. I've seen him on his comeback fights, and to me, he doesn't look like a completely shot fighter. Out of all the guys at cruiserweight who beats Jai, I don't think anybody does. I think Briedis had the best chance, to be honest. I agree. Torres Jr., another knockout waiting to happen. Fun style, but so fucking open. Leading with hooks, coming in square. It's like a half step back and a straight punch. Half step back and a straight bang on the chin, knocked out. We saw him get clowned or get clarted by Jalalov in the amateurs, a brutal knockout. I can see that happening again. Michael Nunn versus Sugar Ray Robinson at 160. Who wins? Believe it or not, I've seen more of Michael Nunn, so I wouldn't like to say. Michael Nunn was a great boxer, though. Excited to see Benavidez fight someone his own size. Yeah, me too. We need a video just to trigger some Fury fans. I'm kind of bored of it now. I had my little fun. And I'm kind of bored of it now, the whole Fury thing. I made a couple of videos after the fight, and I had my fun, you know? I had my fun. You think Benavidez totally runs through him? I guess no. It's possible, right? At this stage, it's possible. Vodzik's looking for his last payday. He'll take a dive. I can see it. But I've also heard the alternative viewpoint. So bear with me. Let me take a drink. So the alternative viewpoint is that basically Vodzik is acting as like a gatekeeper for Canelo. So Vodzik has been in recent Canelo camps. Apparently they get on. Of course, the fight everyone's talking about surrounding Benavidez is Canelo. Doesn't look like Canelo wants the fight. All of a sudden we get Benavidez versus Vodzik, which to me on the surface, from a marketing perspective, doesn't really make much sense. And looking at Vodzik's comeback fights, he doesn't strike me as a guy who's completely shot. Past his best, yes, like I said, but not completely shot. And with that being said, given his power, I think it's a risky fight if Vodzik comes to win. So for me, it's a bit of a strange one. It's a strange fight to make in terms of like a matchmaking perspective. If you're trying to build somebody and protect them, I wouldn't have him fighting Vodzik as his first fight at light heavyweight. I wouldn't personally, even now. It's a strange fight to me. Indeed, Colin, I agree. Any Brits we should be looking out for at the Paris Olympics? I don't keep up to date with the amateurs like I used to. Every Olympic cycle, I get less and less interested, to be honest. I was most interested in 2012 for obvious reasons because it was in the UK. But yeah, I'm not really sure. Oh, Sugar Ray Leonard against Michael Nunn. Michael Nunn at 160. Michael Nunn. Michael Nunn. He beat Sugar Ray Leonard, in my opinion. At 160, Michael Nunn. I know Sugar Ray Leonard on paper got the win over Hagler, but I don't think he won that fight personally. Yeah, hopefully Vodsick doesn't get robbed if he wins. I agree. I'm looking to see a good fight there. I think it could be a good fight. And yeah, if he does win, he could then maybe snag a vacant title because he'd be in line for a title shot if he beats Benavidez because the WBC interim is going to be on the line. And maybe it becomes vacant after Undisputed. Hrgovic stops Dubois inside 8. Again, nothing would surprise me about that fight. I agree, let me ace. Yeah, Bakadir Jalalov going to the Olympics for a third time just feels like a big waste. The heavyweight division is hot right now. He should literally be in the mix. Who knows how fast they'll track him up? Sorry, who knows how fast they'll track him after the Olympics? Yeah, I was disappointed, bro. After the last Olympics in Tokyo, I really expected Top Rank to push Jalalov, keep him active, give him good step up fights, but it's not happened. You know, he's already won a gold medal. What's the point? I mean, he's 30 now as well, man. What's the point? Yeah, I've not been hyped about the Olympics since 2012, honestly. I'm not an Olympics type of guy, though. Watch the media laugh and attack that Paula Venel's girl. When they attacked all the people she wronged before, now they act like they knew all along she was lying. I don't know who Paula Venels is, I'll be honest. Yeah, GB doesn't have a great team for the Olympics this year, not compared to what they had in 2012, 2016, 2020 slash 21. Yeah, we'll see, man. Yeah, I think Benavidez batters Vodsick. I think it'll be competitive for a time. Yeah, those amateurs dodging the pros must get a lot of buck in their country. Yeah, well, there's certain countries that really support those guys, the amateur boxers who do well. That's why Roberto Camarelli never turned pro, the Italian heavyweight, because the Italian government looked after him so well. He was on a good wage, and when he retired, he was promised a high-ranking job in the police. That's why he never turned pro. And I'm assuming the Eastern European countries are similar, or Central Asian countries are similar, where they really look after these guys. You know, I'm assuming it's similar. Do I think Santiago can win a world title again, maybe at Superfly? Or do you think his loss to Junto was too much for him to bear? He was such a solid, skillful fighter, a lot of talent, yeah. Yeah, he impressed me against Donaire. Not I know Donaire was past his best, but his discipline impressed me against Donaire. He never got greedy. He fought a very disciplined fight. That's what I remember about that bout. Junto was a bridge too far. Junto is not only a massive fighter for that weight class, but also a supremely skilled fighter with serious power. But Santiago, for me, is a fighter who is he's well-rounded enough to come back and maybe snag a title. I don't think he'll be a dominant champion or anything like that, but I don't see why not. You know, I don't see why he can't win a title at some point in the next 2 years in the right circumstance. But like you said, man, it was a hard loss to take. It was a hard loss to take against Nakatani. But I mean, it depends, right? It depends. But even super flyweight though, like Fernando Martinez, very, very good fighter. Ioka, very good fighter. Tanaka's very good. Like him versus David Jimenez could be a good fight. That'll be a good fight. I know Jimenez is like the interim champion or regular champion, whatever, but that'll be a good fight. Oh, bro, I've not been fucking paying attention to it. Disclaimer: I've not been paying attention to that post office drama. Genuinely, don't even know what went on. Genuinely, yeah. He got a job in the police, Colin, after he stopped boxing and the house. Yeah. So a lot of these countries look after these amateurs really well. You give Benavidez a good shot against Bivol if his power carries up. I think it'll be interesting. I want to see if he. I want to see him first against Vodsic, Josh. We'll see how he looks. Yeah, Camarelli was a policeman. Yeah, he was. Yeah. And then he got a high-ranking job, I believe, in the police force after he retired. Yeah. In Ireland, they stay amateur way too long and get nothing regardless of what they do. Kelly Harrington got grilled on a radio for liking a tweet by either Valardingbrook. I don't know who that is either, I'll be honest. Campbell Hatton versus Salt Pappy. Salt Pappy beats him. I agree, Toots. I pretty much agree. I'm not sure about Parker having better boxing skills than Fury and AJ, but I know what you're saying. I agree. I'm not surprised, bro. I think they were both hard fights for him, but I'm not surprised he won. I picked Fury. Oh no, I picked Usyk over Fury, right? Yeah, I picked Usyk on points. And I picked fucking Catterall over Taylor. We're on a good little run recently. The one I got badly wrong recently was Caballel and Sanchez. I got that one badly wrong, though. Zhili Zhang, Angel of Redemption. I got Zhili Zhang rounds like 7, 8, or 9, something like that. But yeah, a lot of these good Irish amateurs, man, they struggle. They struggle when they turn pro. They really do struggle. And like you said, Colin, these Irish fighters, you see they have skills and you see why they did well as the in the amateur ranks. But you're right, it's almost like physically these guys don't have it. I don't know what they're doing wrong, but physically these guys get found out quick, for the most part. Frampton being like an exception, but and obviously Anthony Kakache right now. Anthony Kakache against Joe Cordina, that was a stunning victory. He really surprised me because people talked about Kakache's power for years, about how hard this guy hit in the gym, but you never really saw it in the ring because he had more of a laid-back style where he was boxing more. He was much more selective with his work. Against Cordina, he threw that out the window and he went for it. He went for it, and it made me wonder, why wasn't you doing this earlier in your career? Like he looked devastating in there against Cordina. But he can punch. His record doesn't indicate it, but he can punch. You heard somewhere KSI's fighting Amir Khan. Are you serious? You can't be serious. But yeah, maybe in retrospect, Cordina was a risky one though because of how badly he struggled with Vasquez a fight ago. He really struggled in that fight. It was very close. Some people felt he lost that fight, but maybe it was coming with Cordina. maybe again he stayed his welcome too long at the weight class, because people forget Cordina, he started his pro career at lightweight, then he went down. So he won a Commonwealth or British title at lightweight, then he moved down. So I think he probably overstayed his welcome at super feather. Bro, Kakache came out looking like a fucking prime Golovkin. It was crazy. It was crazy. When he moved back from England and I was learning under an Eastern European, I was then told to stop planting my feet and focus on movement. So yeah, the Irish kind of focus on movement more. It feels like in the amateurs, the Irish try to like adopt more of a Cuban type of style kind of thing. Cordina's body's a bit washed. Could be. Yeah, he couldn't handle the volume. Yeah, Ivan Dichko, another highly touted former amateur, that's just lingering around doing nothing. Yeah, he fought in Argentina recently. He's done. We can write him off. Welchmertz, he's done. We can write him off. He's not going to do anything. Maybe when he's older, he'll get used as an opponent. He'll get hyped up as this former medalist, and he'll get knocked out by a prospect. Yeah, I mean, Briedis in terms of skill is underrated. He's so crafty, Briedis. Very crafty, man. The way he delivers that uppercut, his uppercut is so well disguised. And I said this previously. I think I said this in my Opataya post-fight review. But when you look at fighters in boxing today, I don't see many, if any, better fighters than Briedis at being able to generate power on the back foot while moving backwards, still being able to generate power. Briedis does that so fucking well, to the point to where it's almost strange to look at. It's if you've boxed before, and I've only fucked around sparring and shit, but generating real power while moving backwards is fucking incredibly hard. I can't do it. But he's a fucking very good fighter, Briedis. Very good fighter. And he's got that blockhead as well. Like, he's got a great chin also, Briedis. He's got that square head. He can take a punch as well. You have to tiptoe back. You have to tiptoe going back to generate the power, yeah. Like, I recall when he knocked out Manuel Char on the back foot. This was at heavyweight as well, mind you. It was such a beautiful knockout. That's one of my favorite knockouts in like the last 10 years. His knockout of Manuel Char. It's not that Manuel Char is anything special because he's not. But the way he set that knockout up and how he did it on the back foot was crazy. Crazy. On the balls of your feet, not tiptoe. Yeah, I know what you're saying. Yeah. But yeah, that knockout against Manuel Char is one of my favorites of like the last 10, 15 years. How do I think Loma would do against Pac, Morales, Barrera, or Marquez? What, at 126? That's a great question. What weight class are we saying, Saint? 126, 130? What weight class are we saying? I think Morales and Pacquiao are the hardest fights for him stylistically. I think Morales and Pacquiao are the hardest fights stylistically. At 126, Honestly, Lomachenko was more developed than Pacquiao at 126. So just taking Pacquiao at 126 versus Lomachenko, I'll probably take Lomachenko. Morales, they've had damn good fights. I think Morales may beat him because he could mix. Morales was he was a great fighter. I know I use that term a lot, but he was genuinely great because he could box, he could brawl, he was a great straight puncher, he could counter, he could generate power, he could take a dig as well. I think Morales may beat Lomachenko at 126. Barrera and Marquez, I think, are more kind stylistically to Loma. I'm going to revise it. I'll still say Pacquiao beats Loma. I'll say Morales beats Loma. I think Loma beats Barrera and Marquez. It's a hard one. That's a great question, though. He could conceivably lose all four, but I could see him picking up a couple of wins as well. I don't think he beats all those guys. They're great fights. They're great fights. It depends what Barrera shows up. Because, like somebody said, who was it who said it? Somebody said it in the chat, but yeah, let me ace. Barrera struggled with athletic and faster fighters at times, yeah, and even Marquez to a lesser degree, like you said as well. I think I'd agree. I think Pacquiao and Morales stylistically are the hardest fights for him. Always thought that Barrera was a better fighter than Morales. If you go in like purely as a fighter, I can see the argument. Mind you, Barrera could box as well, man. He could box as well, Barrera. Obviously, in the Nazim Hamed fight, we saw that. I mean, he beat Morales right 2-1 in the trilogy. He beat Morales 2-1 in the trilogy. Weirdly, Morales should have won the first fight though. Morales should have won the first fight, but no, sorry, Barrera should have won the first fight, but Morales got it. And another fight in the trilogy, I think it was the second fight, Barrera got the decision, and I felt Morales won. And the third fight, Morales got beat decisively. Yeah, I do. A hand history vault, yeah. In 2014, Crawford had the 135 title. Other champions were Miguel Vasquez, Richard Abril, and Omar Figueroa. Do you think Crawford would beat all of them? Yeah, I do. I do, yeah. Lightweight was quite dead back then, honestly. 2014 lightweight was dead. Yeah, Barrera had skills. I'll take a new way. Josh, I'll take a new way. I think he'll knock out Rigondeaux. I do actually rank Barrera higher than both Morales and Marquez. He beat Morales in the trilogy, and I thought he also beat Marquez when they fought. And Barrera was old by the time they fought. Yeah. But yeah, Barrera, these were all great fighters, man. All great fighters. Those weight classes could do with guys. They could do with guys like that again. Guys like Barrera, Morales, Marquez. Obviously, a young Pacquiao. Those guys were so exciting, man. But you even had guys like Chris John knocking about, who was a good fighter back then as well. Chris John was good. He could box. Yeah, I've got to be in the mood for it, JD. I will at some point. But thing is, when I have a panel, like they go on for quite a long time, and I don't have like super long tonight. Yeah, I agree. Let me ace. Yeah, Rigondeaux's too fragile for a new A. Rigondeaux could be outboxing him, then out of nowhere, Inoue would eventually catch him. I agree. No, I don't think you are, Mark. I agree as well. I see it pretty much as a 50-50. And for the same reason as you, Hrgovic hasn't impressed me either for many years. I liked him in the amateurs, Hrgovic. I liked what I saw. But in the pros, as the years have gone on, for me, Hrgovic has regressed. Doesn't look as fast, doesn't look as dynamic. His punches aren't as snappy as they were in the amateurs. Didn't impress me against Zhang. Didn't impress me against Dempsey McKean. I don't think he's great. I don't think he's this boogeyman. So if Dubois won, I wouldn't be shocked. At the same time, I don't trust Dubois either because of obvious reasons. The chin, the lack of heart, maybe. You know, when things get tough, he finds a way to get going, you know? He doesn't stick in with it. Yeah, there's very few divisions now where you would say that division is stacked. Yeah, you're back in Hrgovic, yeah. I think if Dubois had heart, he comes through. Hrgovic hits harder at 225. He's too heavy at that. Yeah, I agree. Pacquiao was a beast in every weight class he fought. No version of Loma would ever beat Pacquiao. I mean, you could be right. He was a beast in every weight class, like you said. You could be right. Ultimately, we'll never know. I don't think Marquez destroys Lomachenko, Brian. I don't think Marquez destroys Lomachenko personally. Like when you say like destroy, I think of somebody getting dominated and stopped in like 5 or 6 rounds. There's no way that would happen, in my opinion. I mean, if he were to if you're saying, oh, he'll destroy Loma, like then he would have destroyed a guy like Chris John, who is a good fighter, but like he's no Loma. And arguably, you know, Marquez won that fight, but he struggled, Marquez, in that bout. Iran, what's up? Yeah, nostalgia bias comes into it as well. In 20 years, people are going to probably look back at some of the divisions today and call them stacked. Yeah, possibly. Nostalgia is definitely a real thing. I definitely think people are going to say that about the heavyweight division. Lee Talks Boxing. Once the years fade, and especially if like heavyweight gets dominated by Eastern Europeans again. So let's say in 10 years' time, the heavyweight division's being dominated by Eastern Euros. I think people are going to reminisce on this era with rose-tinted glasses. Boomers, all these fights are competitive. I agree, Iran. I totally agree. I think when somebody asks the question, who would win, current fighter or old fighter? A lot of boxing fans feel like they have to say the old fighter always wins just because they're from a previous era. But really, it's about on the night and it's about styles. Like for me, Lomachenko stylistically against Marquez, I think he gives Marquez a lot of trouble. And same goes with Barrera, but I think Morales and Pacquiao are harder fights. And even if you pick like Lomachenko over Barrera, let's say at 126, it doesn't mean you're saying Lomachenko's a greater fighter. We're just talking about in a one-off head-to-head. I think he will. I think he will Welch Schmerz. I think Fury will fight again. He'll fight Usyk again. This is a good point, and I never thought of it like that. I said he's got a bad chin, but I could be Dubois, unironically, has a pretty good chin. I've never seen him down short circuit. Sorry, I've never seen him short circuit. Every time he's gone down, it's been voluntarily. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, 100% Lee Talks Boxing. Yeah, 100%. Cure is a terrible fucking site, though. It should be shut down tomorrow. I didn't go to Luton Carnival. Fuck that shit. Cobb End. Fuck that shit. Yeah, Eastern Europeans, Central Asians, and Cubans, basically. Eastern amateur boxing. Cubans, Central Asians, and Eastern Europeans. Yeah, I think Dubois is buzzy more than chinny, if that makes sense. I get what you're saying. He freezes up almost when he gets hit. It's not like he gets hurt, but he freezes up. I wouldn't say the heavyweight division's on fire, because when you look at it as a broader collective, you've got Usyk, who is the best of the bunch right now, genuine world class fighter. You've got Tyson Fury, who is probably on the slide. You've got Wilder, who is on the slide, and you've got AJ, who's rebuilding. Outside those four, the four well-knowns, who have you really got? Parker's a good heavyweight, but we've seen his limitations. Dillian White is washed. Caballel's making a name for himself. But you look at the division outside the well-known guys, I don't think it's that strong. I've got a little bit of Polish ancestry, but no, I'm not Eastern European. I've got Polish ancestry, but I'm not Eastern European. Ajit Parker's a good fight. Ajit versus Parker's a good fight. Yeah, I agree. Hrgovic, Dubois, Anderson, Caballel are hardly world beaters in any era. Yeah, in the Klitschko era, for example, they'd be described as bums, basically. Yeah, but they're just silly Saint. They're silly, they are. Are you related to Carl and Lee the alcoholic frock? I'm not, no. I wish I had their money, but I'm not, no. Yep. This generation of heavyweights is poor. The next generation of heavyweights is poor. The likes of Anderson, Torres, Dubois. Yeah, I agree. I think once Usyk retires, once Fury retires, once AJ retires, I think what you'll see is a era where the belts are so fragmented. They'll just be like tossed all over the place. There'll be a belt in like Eastern Europe. There'll be a belt in America. There may be a belt in the UK, and it'll be switched around and swapped around, and nobody's going to dominate. I think he may have a few years of like just so many like just belt scattering kind of thing. Fit Finley, yeah, that's a good reference. Fury's going to become the Finley of boxing, a guy who loves to fight but keeps on getting knocked out. Yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to be glass half empty, but I don't think the era is as good as people make it out to be. That's all I'm saying. Thomas Connolly, what's up? Yeah, Dubois needed to spend more time in the amateurs. He has no crisis management, and we could have worked on his head movement. Yeah, I think I agree with that. Yeah, he turned pro very early. He turned pro at 19, right, Dubois? He didn't have that big man senior amateur experience. like, going abroad and fighting in the European Championships or Commonwealth Games, let alone the Olympics. Better than the Klitschko era, worse than the 90s and 70s, on par with the 80s. Maybe. But even though, like, people say it's better than the Klitschko era, but would any of these guys beat prime Klitschko's? I think Usyk could beat a prime Vlad, like I said, but I don't think any of these guys beat a prime Batali. Head to head. And again, you look at this era. Povetkin, a relic from the Klitschko era, was able to do some damage in this era. Like, he beat Hughie Fury, he knocked out Dillian White. He gave AJ a half-decent fight till he got stopped. Pulev hung around for years. Helenius exposed, like fucking Kalnaki. Like, even a prime Povetkin in this era, how would that work out? I'm not saying he'd be a dominant champion or anything, but he'd be a live guy. I'll go as far as saying a prime Samuel Peter versus a prime Dillian White. So Dillian White from the Joseph Parker fight, the Oscar Rivas fight, those fights, versus a prime Samuel Peter. For Samuel Peter who fought Klitschko first time. Like, Samuel Peter could very well knock out Dillian White. If he connects, he can knock him out. Whereas we know Samuel Peter could take Dillian White shots for a while. Samuel Peter had a great chin. And he could hit like a fucking truck. And what about Samuel Peter, a prime Samuel Peter versus Dubois? Like, Samuel Peter was a bit of a caveman in a way, but he was a fucking hard bastard when he was in his prime. Yeah, Vladimir wasn't good to watch. Vitaly was a great fighter to watch, though. Vladimir, I know. And it was weird as well, yeah, Vitaly was blessed with a good chin, whereas Vlad, man, his chin wasn't it. I'm not sure, Iram. I'm not sure about the future of the heavyweight division. Like I said, I think it will be a division where there's so many different champions over the years. It'll be like 2 or 3 years of like just belt swapping hands and no unified champions. Yeah, exactly, Larry. Exactly. Yeah, guys like Pulev and Pavett can easily beat guys like Hughie Fury. Yeah. I wasn't a fan of Vlad, man. His fights, personally. There's a couple of exceptions. So Vlad, before he went with Emmanuel Stewart, was a lot more entertaining. But, his jab and grab style, for me, it wasn't for me. It wasn't for me. I liked Vitali, though. Yeah. Yeah, Vladimir looked like a guy who did a lot of weights. Like, he was one of the best in terms of, like, if you look at heavyweights in terms of their shape, like aesthetics, he was one of like the most probably physically impressive heavyweight champions of all time. Vladimir. Like, his fucking veins had muscles. Pause. No Diddy and all that. Riddick Bowe was an interesting one. Riddick Bowe for me is like a what if. In terms of talent, Riddick Bowe had so many attributes. For a big man, his inside game was very good. Very good. But obviously, outside the ring, he enjoyed his foods too much, Riddick Bowe. Again, a fighter who we never really saw what he could really do. Well, we did in certain fights, but imagine if he was dedicated. Who knows how good that guy could have been. But, you know, he was there. He got involved in wars, man. He got involved in wars. I made this comparison years ago. When it's all said and done, I think this could be a good comparison. Tyson Fury is the Riddick Bowe of nowadays, in the sense of like a guy who had a lot of natural ability, a lot of skill, a lot of physical talent, but a guy whose outside the ring antics really affected his career. I can see the comparison. I can see the comparison. I wondered whether he was injured, Lee. He was moving so weird in that fight, Frank Sanchez. He was moving so weird. Maybe his age is coming through. I don't know. Orlando Solis, yeah. He beat David Hay in the 2001 World Amateur Championships, yep. Yeah, Frank Sanchez, he was so top heavy. He put on way too much weight. Way too much weight. Like he built up way too much. And maybe that's what affected his movement. Maybe he wasn't injured. Maybe he was just too top heavy. I got Zhang. Rounds 7, 8, or 9. Yeah, no, it was Solis. Yeah, he fell over on his knee after getting hit with a right hand. He collapsed to his knee, yeah, and he fucked his knee up. Yeah, Sanchez isn't naturally that big either. He was around 225 at 6'4". Yeah. Okay, what did he weigh in at against Caballero? Let's have a look. He was 238 against Caballero, yeah. But you're right, earlier in his career, mind you, he randomly put weight on after 2020. So he was like 220s, like he started like Sanchez. I never realized Frank Sanchez started at 200. He started at 200 pounds in 2017. And in 2024, he was 238. But yeah, he looked way too overbuilt against Caballero. He looked pumped up. He looked pumped up. Yeah, Bowe's only elite win was against Holyfield. Yeah, I agree. Even Fury has a deeper resume than him. Yeah, I agree. But I just think in terms of like what they should have achieved, I think you can compare him to Fury in that sense. They should have achieved more. I know Fury's career is not done yet. And even if he beats Usyk in a rematch, I'd still hold that opinion of Tyson Fury because he missed so many years of his career because of outside the ring shit. Like if Fury was actually dedicated throughout his whole career and took it seriously like he should, who knows how good that guy could have been. Yeah, Sanchez had that HGH guy. Yeah, he did. He was fucking huge. Yeah, he fought at 201 in the amateurs. He was Erislandy Savon's rival, yeah. So he was just a regular heavyweight, not a super heavy. Yeah, Savon is a what if he turned pro. Teofilo Stevenson as well is the most obvious example from Cuba. But you know, these Cubans, man, at heavyweight, they don't seem to pan out. They don't seem to pan out for whatever reason. Yeah, Sanchez's arms looked too heavy for his build. He could barely move. Yeah, it was weird. Yeah, I doubt Fury wins the rematch unless Usyk ages rapidly, which won't happen as he lives for life outside the ring. I think I agree. Yeah, Riddick Bowe, man. Like somebody said earlier, though, Riddick Bowe in his career, man, he invited so much pressure onto himself, and he got involved in fights, took a lot of punishment. Even against lesser guys, he would get tagged up until he stopped them. Yeah, Fury. Yeah, I agree. I think that's the case with most fighters, though, bro. In the corner, it should be one voice. Especially in a crisis round like that when you've had your clock fucking cleaned and you've been badly buzzed. You're still going to be groggy. You're still going to be like concussed. Having multiple people shout instructions at you isn't exactly conducive of getting the best out of your fighter. Yeah, I'm not sure about Andy Cruz yet. I'm more high on David Morrell, but we'll see. He's a good boxer, though. He's a good boxer. That's a good point. Yeah, Usyk wasn't bothered by Fury's feints, and Fury is not used to that from an opponent. That's a good point. Yeah, yeah. Fury wasn't biting. Yeah, sparring is where most damage is done. Willie Hutchinson is only in his early 20s, but I heard an interview with him this week, and he's slurring all over the place. Yeah, I noticed that as well, but I wasn't sure whether that was just how he sounded or whether it was like boxing related. I've not heard him like I haven't heard him talk all that much, so I can't really compare it. I've never actually run into a Just Stop Oil blockade personally. I've never run into one, but yeah, they can go and fuck themselves. Bunch of Tarquins and Imeldas, little rich kids, rich kids stopping poor folk from going to work. Basically, is what they are. Just Stop Oil. So if those guys catch a beating, I've got no sympathy. In fact, I appreciate it. I appreciate it, to be honest. Basically, yeah, middle class posho cunts. Yeah, upper middle class ponces. They all sound the same. They all look the same. They all have funky names, like I said, like Esmeralda or fucking Tarquin or Giles. Fucking ponces. Just people who need a beating. Yeah, that's all they're good for, those sort of posh girls, man. But yeah, I can't stand those types. They're always the sort of types to like preach for the working class, yet they could care less. They could really care less about the working class. They've got this weird obsession with the rich, even though they come from a background that's richer than most. And that's what I've noticed in life. You know, there's this whole like eat the rich thing and this, that, and the third. Most of it comes from upper middle class people. That's always been strange to me. Very good fight with Santillan last time out. He beat Santillan up though late on. Looks good. Looks good, but that's really all I've seen from him. That's really all I've seen from him. I think welterweight's going to be another division in the next couple of years. Unless Ennis cleans up, I could see belts getting vacated a lot. And I don't think Ennis is going to be at 147 for long. So I think welterweight, once Ennis goes, it's going to be a division where nobody really dominates, and you'll see multiple champions. Yeah, Just Stop Oil is the usual thinly veiled classists. Yep, went to college with those types 10 odd years ago, and they just hate poor people. Yeah, they just hate rich people more, bro. But they hold the working class with disdain. They just hate rich people more for whatever reason. I mean, you just have to look at how these people spoke about the working class after Brexit, and how a lot of working class people voted. Then their true feelings come out: stupid, ignorant, brainwashed, bigoted. Like, as soon as a working class person says something they don't like, the usual cliches will come out. I'm not voting, bro. I'm not voting. And I thought national service wasn't voluntarily I thought it was like a draft. I don't even know how it'd work. National service. Yeah, I'm not in favour of it. National service, considering the state of the world right now. Um, Again, like, maybe if you asked me when I just turned 18, 12 years ago, I'd have a much different opinion than I have. But again, the way people in a working class community get shouted down and diminished, but as soon as they want you to fight a war, then we're useful. For fuck them. I wouldn't. I'm not for it at all. So when he was in uni, I said my dad was a tradesman, and they questioned whether I should be in uni. Yeah, that says it all, bro. Canelo's no longer undisputed. Why? What happened? Has he been stripped? I guess it'd be the IBF, right? If he got stripped. I guess it'd be the IBF. Yeah, reminds me of that guy who runs Politics Joe. He interviews people from the poorest areas of the UK and clips them up to make them look stupid. Meanwhile, he went to the most expensive private school in the UK. Well, that sort of content's always been around in the UK, bro. From like Jeremy Kyle, for example, and programs like that. Those programs have always existed, like the benefits scrounger programs. They're painting a certain image. They're painting a certain image, and I'm not saying those people don't exist. Of course they do. They're scumbags within working class communities, of course. Saw something about Rishi Sunak cutting out Wi-Fi if there's too low national service numbers. Better not do that while I'm playing poker at a poker tourney. Okay, yeah. So it was the IBF. Okay, yeah, because he was mandated to fight that Cuban guy, William Skull. Yeah, yeah. Dmitry Pirog was very talented. He was signed to fight Golovkin before he got his back injury. Yeah, it's a shame. It's a shame. Yeah, fight sport talk. I agree. Yeah, Wilder's saying the right things, but saying and doing obviously are two different things. He's 38. He's made a lot of money. Can he rewind the clock or get that hunger back? We'll see. But regardless, Zhang is a dangerous, dangerous fight. I know Zhang never looked good either in his last fight, but it's a hard fight for me. It's a hard fight for Wilder. But listen, I think he should risk it early on. Yeah, they dehumanize poor people for scamming a few £100, but they're scamming millions in expenses. Yeah. And I mean, not even just expenses though. Like, so for example, with COVID, how many of these MPs had shares in like AstraZeneca and Johnson and Pfizer and shit? Like, yeah. I do remember. I remember I was too young to see it when it came out, but I remember watching the repeats on I forgot what channel it was on, but yeah, I do. That's a lot of people in this country though. I think it's a good fight, but I'd expect Felix Cash to win. But having said that, Cash hasn't looked good for ages. Yeah, basically. Basically, Paul, yeah. I'd say Usyk wins on points, sort of 9 rounds to 3. I think Parker gives him some trouble, but I don't think Parker. I think against Usyk, you have to kind of impose yourself on him, and I don't think Parker has that sort of mentality to do so. To be honest with you, I don't think he's got that sort of mentality. So I take Usyk on points. I don't think Usyk would ever stop Parker, but I take Usyk on points. 100%, yeah. System is corrupt. Noses in the trough across the board, yeah. Yeah, Keir Starmer is a fucking dork. He's another one. Yeah, I think he retired, Ted Cheeseman. Apparently he's got businesses that are doing well, but yeah, I think he's retired. He got chefed up though at one point. Because I saw the pictures on social media. He got like chefed up. He got stabbed up. Or slashed up, one of the two. I'd watch that fight, Dillian White versus Lawrence Okole. I'd watch it. I'm not convinced the Fury Usyk rematch happens. Fury isn't doing any talking. The guys who are benefiting from the fight are, yeah. But I don't see where else. I mean, he could fight Joshua, right? But I think he'll want to get it back. I know you can't really. I know you can't really trust Tyson Fury, but I think he needs to run it back. I think he will run it back. I think he'll want to run it back. Yeah, Starmer's government's going to be PTA mums running the country and banning everything. I've accepted it, laugh out loud. Oh, we're fucked either way, bro. We're fucked either way, I think. We're fucked either way. I just want it. I want this election over and done with now, to be honest. I want it over and done with. Yeah, he's not great, Waved. He's not great, Willie Hutchinson. He's been the only fight of consequence he took, he got knocked out. Whereas Craig Richards is what he is. He's a tough guy, good chin, fought at a decent level. I'd say Craig Richards at his best is a European level fighter. Whereas Hutchinson got found out at 168 domestically. So I take Richards. Billum Smith versus Riakporhe takes place on June the 15th. Prediction. I'll take Riakporhe. I'll take Riakporhe. JD, I'll take Riakporhe. Yeah. Yeah, Richards is a good gatekeeper. He is, yeah. Tough guy. Good chin. Fucking hell, I need, man. You fucking crazy guy. The Keir Starmer Jimmy Savile cover up seems pretty bad. Yeah, he was. So apparently Keir Starmer was. I forget what position he was in. Oh, I forget what position, but yeah, apparently he could have investigated Jimmy Savile or whatever. I forget what the thing was, but yeah, I don't know how true it was. but I know what you're talking about. So he was the head of CPS, yeah, and they people alleged basically that he could have. I think he was accused of closing a case against Jimmy Savile or refusing to investigate, something like that. I don't know what the story was. I've not really researched it. Yeah. Politically, we're fucked in the UK. It takes 10 seconds to Google, and you'll see all the MPs on both sides are employed by the same NGOs to the tune of millions. It's also not the public are so clueless. Yeah, but it's democracy, though, Matt. We get a choice, bro. It's mer democracy. We get a choice, bro. It's a perfect system. It's a perfect system. But yeah, it does make me cringe so hard that people still believe, like they like spend decades believing in a certain party, despite living through the country getting worse decade by decade, and they believe in these parties still. It's kind of crazy to me. Scorched earth, let's burn it all down and start again. Yeah. I thought you'd beat Southampton, to be honest, Saint. I thought you'd beat Southampton. Whereas us, we fucking somehow done it. I don't know how. I'll take it. I was happy when it happened, man. I was so fucking happy, but I don't know how we won. Man City were bad. Man City were bad. But, you know, we got the job done, I guess, right? So I'm happy with it. But yeah, you guys next season could be a bit of a struggle because Premier League teams are going to be looking at Archie Gray and Somerville, people like that. Keeping hold of those players is going to be difficult. It's going to be difficult. Because apparently Chelsea want Archie Gray. Sorry, Chelsea want Somerville, apparently. That's what's going to be tough for Leeds, is keeping hold of those players. You can get away with it 1 year in the Championship, but if you don't come straight back up, you're going to struggle. Good thing with Leeds, though, they've got a big base. They have a bigger budget than most in that league, so Leeds will be up there again next season, I'm sure. Okay. If that is the case. But I'll need to research it myself. Either way, though, Labour, Conservatives, they're both trash. You've got to go Makachev in that fight against Poirier. Poirier's a nearly man. He nearly does it. He nearly gets there. He's world class, but not like elite. I think Makachev wins. Probably submits him second, third round. Would you date a 65-year-old at 30 or 35 like Riakporhe is doing? What is Riakporhe doing? Who the fuck is he dating? Okay, Christopher Mbili versus Sergey Derevyanchenko. It's going to be your usual. Derevyanchenko's going to give it. He's going to give it a good go and lose, basically. But yeah, it'll be a fun fight. Oh my days, bro! Richard Riakporhe is going to beat Chris Billum-Smith. It's done. It's official. He's sold his soul to the Illuminati devils. Like you have to like sell your soul to go with Madonna, bro. She looks like Jigsaw, bro. She looks like Jigsaw. That's grim. That's grim. Like he's been to some like special party. He's been anointed. Richard Riakporhe is going to become like a pound for pound, undisputed cruiserweight, bridgerweight, heavyweight champion. You've heard it here first. He's going to become a star. Yeah, bro, she does. She looks like fucking that clown from Jigsaw. Yeah, from Saw. Yeah, pound for pound gilf slayer, Richard Riakporhe. Listen, bro, I can't question his heart, though. I can't question his heart. If he's going in that, then listen, I think he'll take whatever Chris Billum Smith has to throw at him. He's passed his gut check, Richard Riakporhe. Bro, he ran through. I think ran through is polite, Reese. Hopatai he's already practicing his dives. Yeah, bro. He's gonna lay down. Riakporhe's part of the elite now. Yeah, she was never my type anyway, Saint, I'll be honest. Just trying to be polite. Ever the gentleman. Can't wait to see Wilder unconscious again. Well, it could very well happen this weekend. Decimated, annihilated, scorched earthed. You can add any superlative and it'll work. Bro, she is hideous now, man. Like, she genuinely didn't look human. When that picture went viral of her, when she had that surgery done, like, she genuinely... Bro. There's something very tragic about that, about an older person desperately trying to hang on to their youth. I'm not saying somebody who, like, looks after their appearance and, you know, does what they can. But when it's to that extreme, there's something tragic and sad about it, but there's also something very, very insidious and creepy about it. I can't quite put my finger on it, but like Madonna genuinely looks like... She looks creepy. She looks like something out of a horror movie. Soon to be, we'll be seeing Del with Lizzo. Yeah, J-Lo still looks good. Honestly, in a real fight, though, I think Opetaya would outbox Riakporhe. I think he'll just outbox him, Dave. Vaj is about as used as the Thames, and in the same state as Thames water. Yeah, this makes no sense. Thoughts on the WBO telling Fundora he'll get stripped if he doesn't fight Crawford next, while Crawford has a fight next. Also, the WBC will make Crawford Madrimov winner, Mando. Crawford could get 3 belts. It's weird, bro. It's weird, but yeah. But just common sense needs to prevail. Like, if Fundora wants to fight, he should be allowed to fight. You can't let Crawford have a fight and then not allow Fundora to fight. Hey, you picked Fury to win. I'm not surprised. I don't know, bro. So the end of that video you're talking about, I'm always very skeptical of when people say things like that. Oh, we've got proof that can expose everything. Just show it. Just show it, you know? If you've got the proof, show it. But I don't know, man. I don't know. Bro, that's what I'm saying. She looks like something out of like some kids' story, like some fucking like the evil hag or whatever. Yeah, that's fair enough because he's only really fought Briedis at a world level. That's fair enough. I'd like to see it as well. I want to see him fight another champion. I don't see why he doesn't go for Noel Gevor because Gevor's not exactly getting opportunities right now. He's the WBC champion. Okay, bro, the video, I'll put it in the chat. Shit, what's it called? Oh, shit. I'll find the fucking video first, bro. Someone in the chat's going to say it before I do, I think. Oh, what's this video called? Someone in the chat needs to help me out. I forgot what it's called. I agree, BG London. We very rarely agree on that sort of thing, but I totally agree. I forgot what this video is called, Duck. I can't find it. Even though it's got like 80,000 views in like 2 days, but it's not showing up. Okay, the video is called. I'll just link it. I'll just link it. There we go, Duck. I've linked it. Fucking hell, bro, Colin. Listen. No, it's worth watching, Duck. It's worth watching. It's worth watching. Give it a watch. Oh, bro. I think I'd have to get dosed up on like Viagra or Cialis. I'll be honest. I'd dose myself up. I'll dose myself up. I'll take so fucking much. I'll have to go to a hospital after. Nah, Michelle Joy Phelps looks far better. Yeah, it's worth watching, Duck. It's worth watching. Fuck knows who made it. Like the actual people behind it. Fuck knows who made it, but see, people always say this about Michelle Joy Phelps. She looks like a tranny, but I don't see it. Let me Google an image of her again. I don't really see it, I'll be honest. Especially in like older pictures. A dedicated hater like me. Yeah, exactly. That's the devil's pussy. Yeah, fuck that. Never for any amount of money. I think I agree. Yeah, but yeah, Michelle Joy Phelps has. Yeah, she's had too much surgery. This is another meme that I don't know where it came from. Don't know where it came from. I don't think she does boxing content anymore, though, right? I've not seen her do a boxing interview for ages. I don't really watch boxing interviews, though, so what the fuck do I know? Yeah, I find the whole surgery thing weird. A girl in the year below me got a loan out and spent 30K on every surgery going as soon as she turned 19. Now in her late 20s, she looks about 55. Yeah. That's fucking grim, isn't it? It's grim. Fucking Henry Wright toenail TV. Christ. Okay, so she's got a new channel now. Okay. I wonder what happened about that. It's worth watching. It's hard to summarize in like a few sentences, but it's worth watching. Never happened, Duck. Never happened. You can't find these comments. You can't find these comments. Never happened. She might have sold it, but like, I don't know how many subs she had. I'm not sure. Like, she had a few 100,000, right? Honestly, selling a channel that size, you won't get much money. You might get a few grand, like 4 or 5 grand, maybe. I don't know. Only thing I'm worried about now is getting grey hair. I'm 22 and my uni course is stressing me out so much. I'm noticing a few greys. I've got jet black hair, and I'm 30 now, and I've got a few greys on the side. But it kind of works with black hair when there's a few greys dotted in there. Makes you look a bit distinguished and experienced and worldly, you know. But it's always on the side of my hair, so it's on the sides. It's not like on the top. It's on the sides. But what I do to alleviate it is to get a skin fade, so you don't know. You don't know. So luckily, yeah. Luckily, my greys are on the sides, so a skin fade gets rid of them for a few days. A skin fade gets rid of them. But yeah, I've not watched Michelle Joy Phelps in a minute. I know what you're saying though. The older pictures of her, the more recent pictures are pretty meh. They're pretty meh. I can't lie. Again, after a while, that surgery shit just it catches up with you. Surgery, doesn't it? If you get surgery too young, especially, it catches up with you. It never ends well. Basically, yeah, it never ends well. Makes you look older after a while because it starts to look fake after a while. You look fake, and it doesn't resemble a human anymore. It looks odd. Fucking hell, people are going in on Rachel Danair now. Phelps has an iron chin. Sorry, a chin on par with Marius Vac. Michelle Joy Phelps or Ronda Rousey? Who are you taking home? Oh, God. I think MJP will be a lot more fun. I'll take MJP home over Ronda Rousey. Bro, we did say this, didn't we? This was during COVID. We predicted it. I predict these things. It was obvious though, wasn't it? It didn't take a genius to work it out. It was obvious, to be fair. I might slide into Rachel's DMs and ask her to train me. Clarissa Shields or Jane Couch? Clarissa Shields. Bro, JD's talking shit again. You guys, man. You guys. Yeah, because I forget the story, but I think she was begging like promoters to subsidize her life while she couldn't work, basically, while there was no shows because of COVID. She was saying that promoters should still pay them money, basically, during the time off. It's like, bro, seriously? Like, there's so much you could do. You could do live streams. You could do this. You could do that. There was so much you could do, and you were like, bro, come on, man. And I said back then, yeah, it's going to be like, before long, she'll start an OnlyFans. Do you think Bob Arum still goes at it, even at 91, 92? Do you think he still goes for it? He probably does. He probably does, doesn't he? Gets fucking dosed up and has a merry time. He probably does. He's just living life now. Then he just don't give a fuck, Bob Arum. He don't give a fuck. Did she actually? Ty and Booth kept making videos about Anna Warhouse's tongue so much that she called the police on him. Bro, seriously. Bob Arum is peak stage evolution. He don't give a fuck anymore. Oh, bro. He still does it though. Like the fact that he's still traveling to these fights abroad is kind of crazy. Like, wasn't he in Japan for a new A? Like the fact he travels so much is crazy for such an old guy. Bro, that's what I'm saying, Josh. All they need to do with Joe Biden, just hand this guy Bob's medicine cabinet, it'll be fine. That's what he's gonna get on during the debates coming up. Because you know Bob's a Democrat. He's gonna give Joe Biden his secret stash, his medicine cabinet. And it's going to be Joe Biden's going to be waxing lyrical and spitting fucking rhymes and poems and shit. Yeah, the whole YouTube boxing interview culture is painful. Reminds me of the time Hearn gave the exclusive interview after the Conor Benn debacle to Parsons, and all he did was ask him what his favorite meal deal was. Yeah, well, Charlie Parsons is. He's one of those sort of interviewers who just appeals to the lowest common denominator, like just appeals to like pure casuals. To be honest, yeah, Bob's too old to give a fuck. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, that's the thing about that. Yeah, like it's not like fighters don't get robbed in America. Yeah, I know, right, Duck? But yeah, Charlie Parsons, he's a weird looking dude as well. No offense to him, but he looks like a weasel, though. That's what I'm saying. He acts like a weasel. He looks like a weasel. It's just, bro, come on, man. Yeah, he gets baked. Bob Arum, yeah, he's long since advocated for marijuana. Yeah, Bob's on the finest shit. He's on shit. Bob is on shit that wouldn't get detected by VADA. That's what he's on. Yeah, I mean, there's no good interviews anymore. I honestly, funnily enough, I think if you let all of these guys go unscripted, I think Umar would probably be the best interviewer. If these guys were allowed to ask more questions, I think Umar would be the best at it, to be honest. I think Coogan's terrible. Coogan's a good businessman. He spotted the opportunity early on and he really capitalized. I'm not debating Coogan. Number one, his work rate, and number two, his business acumen. He's great at that, but as an interviewer, I don't think Coogan is particularly good. Yeah, he works for Box Nation now, yeah. They are basically drones, Sport 129. They are drones because, like you said, they're only allowed to ask certain questions to get access. Yeah, they have to ask certain questions. We saw it when that leak came out about what's his face? Fucking the Freemason, Ben Shalom. When that little footage leaked about him telling the journalist, you can't ask this, that, or the third. I'd rather you not ask questions about this or that. That got leaked, but this is what it is. Bob was clapping cheeks 70 years ago. It's kind of crazy when you think about it like that, right? 70 years ago. He was clapping cheeks in the 50s, bro. I never knew he had a rich dad. Does he actually have a rich dad? See, I never knew that, to be fair. No, Hans is fine. Hans is fine. Hans is fine. Jake Paul, Mike Tyson is a joke for me. I'll watch for highlights for next day, Hans. I'll watch for highlights for next day. He is basically, yeah. Bob Arum is like the modern day Hugh Hefner, just a lot more high. Just a lot higher. I think it'll be a fake fight as well, bro. I think it'll be a fake fight. Tyson versus Paul. I don't think it'll be a real fight personally, but listen, I hope, like most people, I hope Mike Tyson knocks him clean out. But whether it happens or not, I don't know. I don't know. He's 58 years old, man. He had a medical emergency on a flight. This is what we're dealing with Mike Tyson. He's 2 years away from being 60 years old. You know what I mean? So I think so too, Josh. I think you'll see that as well eventually. Yep, he had a like a ulcer that went bad, like made him feel nauseous and shit. Yeah, so yeah. Listen, I have my problems with Eddie Hearn, but like Ben Shalom is just awful. Oh, what's up, CRB? How you doing, bro? Yeah, I wondered if you. Yeah, okay. Big up to CRB. Mike Tyson should fight his own age, like Frank Sanchez. I no, I don't use Netflix, bro. I don't use Netflix. I don't use it. Yeah, it does feel like Ben Shalom is protected from like negative press in boxing media. It does. It's the whole Ben Shalom thing is very strange from top to bottom. Like he was a objective nobody, and he gets the gig on Sky Sports. You know, he was basically running shows where they were basically like prize fighter shows where there'll be three rounders on a card, there'll be multiple fights, and there'll be one winner. He was doing these small hall type of shows, and then all of a sudden he was the head of Sky Sports Boxing, the new promoter. It was so weird. Um, and then randomly on a couple of fights, so Florian Marku versus Chris Congo, and there was another one. I forget which it was. But the face-offs for these fights were held in a Masonic lodge. And you know, he has those vibes, man. He probably knew somebody in Sky, or his dad did, or whatever. He's there for a certain reason, and it's not because he was qualified or particularly impressive. He's a plant. He is what he is. It's nepotism. Oh, is it a free fight? I actually never knew it was free. I thought it was pay-per-view. I thought it was pay-per-view. Okay, it's free. Okay, interesting. But you know, it's free. But like, they're gonna make so many. They're gonna get so many subscriptions. It's gonna be crazy. Because like even Mike Tyson versus Roy Jones did really good numbers, man. Mike Tyson is still a fucking name. And you know those old heads who used to watch Mike Tyson way back when, these motherfuckers don't know how to stream. They don't know about a Fire Stick. They'll buy that shit. They'll fucking sign up to Netflix. Yeah, that's true, Sport 129. That is true. Because if it is a fake fight and it's 20 million, it's risk free, right? Health wise. Who's a better pundit, Tony Bellew or Spencer Oliver? Oh, fuck me. Christ. You really are scraping the barrel. Christ almighty. Spencer Oliver is bad. Tony Bellew is bad. I'm going to say Spencer Oliver is worse because he's a nothing pundit. Like, he's just bad across the board. Whereas Tony Bellew becomes so bad, it gives me something to talk about. And it gets people talking. So I'm gonna say Spencer Oliver is worse because he's so forgettable. Spencer Oliver's worse. Oh, thank you, Ira Core. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, man. Big up to yourself. Much appreciated. Salute. Groves is decent. I know, yeah, but I can't get over his new fucking hair. I can't get over it. Just looks odd. Tony Bellew at least makes you laugh. Exactly. Yeah, Joe Markowski, another weirdo. Andy Lee started out really well as a pundit, though, and then he soon realised what his role was, I think, or what he needed to do to keep a job, basically. You think Barker's bad? Again, Barker's bad, but I don't think he's as bad as the other two. Showtime commentary with Al Bernstein, Malignaggi, and Ronaldo back in the day were really good. So a lot of boxing fans don't like Mauro Ronaldo or Ronaldo, however you say his name. I quite like the guy. He's got that old-fashioned kind of like, I don't know, I like the reactions he gives. Like, Mamma Mia, and all that shit. Unironically, I think he's a good commentator, though. The Black Skellington, yeah. Ronald McIntosh. I think he's a good commentator. I like him personally. I think he's a good commentator. People complain about his language and how he'll like say, "Oh, Alexander Usyk dominates the fourth stanza." I quite like that shit. I quite like it. I like his commentary. I think he's a very good commentator, but that's just me. I think he's good. See, I think I'm in like a minority on this one, but I think Ronald McIntosh is very good. I like his commentary. And you can tell he likes boxing. I think he used to be an amateur. I think he used to be an amateur fighter, Ronald McIntosh. I'm pretty certain he did. But you can tell he has a real passion for boxing. Yeah, Algieri's okay. Malignaggi is very good. Do I think Ammo Williams has the power to stop Hamza? Will this fight be fight of the night? It could very well be. Ultimately, both guys are very unproven. We've seen Shiraz get dropped, and Williams seems to have above average power. How hard he hits, truly, I don't know. But it seems to be above average. Ultimately, it could happen because both guys are so untested. I wouldn't really be surprised either, however this way goes. Knockout either way, points either way, wouldn't be surprised. I'm just going to sit back and enjoy that one, bro. I have no idea on it. I'd slightly favour Hamza, but I'm not sure. Yeah, he was a good commentator, man. He was a good commentator. Ronald McIntosh, yeah, good commentator. Yeah, exactly, yeah. Ty and Booth, like calling him the Black Skellington, by the way, it's just funny. But yeah, he calls the action how it is, no narratives, that's how it's supposed to be, yeah. But people moaned about his language, about him trying to sound a certain way, or he's kind of got the old-timey dialect to a degree, but I like it. I like it personally. I think he's a good commentator. And he can call the fight while he's getting excited. But he's got a very good grasp on the English language. Adam Catterall's another one. Yeah, he's bad. He looks so weaselly as well, Adam Catterall. He's got those beady rodent eyes. I wouldn't trust him as far as I could throw him. He's got a certain look to him I don't like. Ronald McIntosh and Larry Merchant on the same commentary team. Yeah, he's a weirdo stats killer. Gareth A. Davis is a certified weirdo. A lot of hate for Hamza Shiraz in the chat. Jesus. No, bro. I just go for who I think's gonna win 99% of the time. Sometimes I'll root for a fighter if I like them, but nationality doesn't really come into it that often. So like Usyk and Fury, I was rooting for Usyk as well as thinking he would genuinely win. Beterbiev Yarde, I was rooting for Beterbiev. You know what I'm saying? Like if Matthias fought Dalton Smith, I'd support Matthias. I don't really care. I just support fighters who I like to watch. That's just how I am, though. Sorry. Yeah, McCrory and Ian Dark on Sky back in the day was good. Yeah, they were good. Yep. His own commentary is horrible. Horrible. I hate that autist from the zone with a mustache. Who is he? Mustache. By the way, speaking of the zone, Chris Mannix is a dork. He looks like a dork as well. Absolute fucking nerd, that guy. The midget with no jaw. Who are you talking about? Midget with no jaw and the autist with the mustache. Autist, mustache, midget. No jaw. Who the fuck are you talking about? Does anybody in the chat know? Is it on the American side or British side? Peter Fury gave an in-depth opinion on Tyson Fury versus Usyk. Why now? Interesting. Maybe he wants to train him again. Possibly. I mean, according to Tyson Fury, he's not English anyway. Like, sometimes he'll renounce his English heritage and he'll call himself Irish. Then he'll call himself a traveller. I mean, it's funny how that's convenient. When he wants support, it's convenient, right? But when he says something stupid or when he feels upset, oh, I'm not English, they don't respect me, blah, 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 blah. I heard Chris Mannix was dating a boxer. Is that true? I've heard this as well. He's got a punchable face, hasn't he? Chris Mannix. He's got a punchable face. I heard this, but I don't know who he's dating. But he's a bad commentator. Yeah, Tyson Fury called himself Irish and then wore a Northern Ireland shirt. Yeah. Yeah, salute to L-Dog, man. Yeah, that's another thing. Ariel Helwani, whatever his fucking name is, this guy's weaseled his way into boxing, isn't he? As soon as MMA and boxing had that crossover, this guy's been here ever since. He's a settler, bro. He's a settler. A boxing settler, apparently. Christ, 1 second. Hope you appreciated that settler joke, by the way. I thought that's pretty good. I thought that was pretty good. Chris Mannix is dating a boxer. What's his name, this boxer? Bro. Oh, Ebony Bridges all day over Madonna, but bro, I'm not a fan of Ebony Bridges either. I never knew this. Tyson Fury tried to get on the Wales team in the amateurs. He loves all nations. Ronald McIntosh is dating Maya Jama. Sergio Mora needs to be dealt with by the Mexican drug cartels. Oh wow. Yeah, like I've done like 3 or 4 MMA videos in my time, but yeah, I don't know enough to really go deep. Sergio Mora is dating Jane Couch. Yeah, where is the big fighting man? Where is John Fury gone? The old big fighting man. Have you seen him? I swear I heard Mannix was dating Senicia Estrada. I don't know how he pulled her. Yeah, must have let her use him as a punching bag. What's up, Nordic, by the way? Mannix is dating Andre. His Andrade cutout. I hope, bro, can you imagine if he's in jail? That'd be hilarious. But yeah, I'm not a big fan of Chris Mannix. He's I don't know, just another one of these. He knows his role, kind of thing. Imagine we find John Fury decapitated in the desert. Jesus Christ. I'll make a video on it at least, I guess. I'm joking. Well, I'm not joking, but you know what I mean. Yeah, Joe Parker versus Ajit Caballel is a good fight. That's a good fight. I'd watch that fight. Could be a good like final eliminator for a title. WBO maybe. I don't know. Yeah, WBO because Parker's number one. That'd be a good fight. Final eliminator. Parker versus Caballel. I'd watch that fight. I wouldn't be surprised if he's left at home for a rematch. I wouldn't be surprised if he's left at home. That's a very good point, Cop End. Because he's got a bad word to say about everybody, John Fury, but with Peter, despite this so-called family beef, he's never once mentioned Peter Fury. Peter Fury's a fucking. You wouldn't want to. You wouldn't get on. You wouldn't want to get on the wrong side of him. From one of those guys who strikes you as like being chill until he's not. Yeah, Inoue versus Tank will never happen. There's too many weight classes apart. Too many weight classes apart. It'll never happen. Inoue would be stupid to take that fight, man. He can make so much money in Japan anyway. He's just giving away all his advantages and everything. Yeah, basically, yeah. Peter Fury is what John Fury pretends to be. And Peter Fury left that part of him way back when, like years. That was years ago. And John Fury still wants to be the guy Peter Fury was 25 years ago. It's crazy, isn't it? Some people never grow up. Okay, Achilles is L-Dog. Big up to L-Dog, by the way. That's going to be a tough fight. I think I slightly lean towards Hrgovic, but his recent performances haven't really filled me with confidence, man. There's just no snap on his punches anymore. He just seems like he's forcing everything. He looks kind of cumbersome and sloppy. In the amateurs, I was very impressed with Hrgovic. Very impressed, but I don't think he's really pushed on the way I expected. I think a lot of it was due to him being moved a little too slowly, plus the inactivity over COVID. And yeah, I'm not sure how much he really wants it. I'm sure he's a big star in Croatia, probably getting paid really well with like endorsements and sponsors. He'll get his title shot and probably fuck off, but he might be too durable for Dubois. Could be, could be too durable, but I don't know. I think it's a tougher fight to call than people are giving it credit for. I mean, we said that, but Zhang was a world title eliminator. Is Saint not a fan of Loma? Babic is the true pride of Croatia, not Hrgovic. They might as well make that fight in Croatia. If Hrgovic loses, make Babic versus Hrgovic. But yeah, if he does take it seriously, then Dubois is getting smoked. But if not, who knows? Yeah, I'd like somebody said. I think it was Colin. I'd like to see Hrgovic lose a little weight, try and get some of that speed back. There's a lot of that now, though. Fighters getting sponsored by OnlyFans. Yeah, Hrgovic called him out for the sparring, saying that Daniel basically folded and it was easy. But, you know, maybe Daniel, like somebody said earlier, now Daniel apparently he's busted his nut. Maybe that makes him a stronger fighter, a meaner fighter. We'll see. I'm looking forward to that fight, though. I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, I think Fundora's going to go through Spence. I think Spence is done, bro. I think Spence is done. Daniel's new persona since he lost his virginity is hilarious. It's come out of his shell a bit more, isn't he? It's amazing. It's amazing what a bit of pussy does for a guy, right? Fighters who wear OnlyFans tend to lose pretty quickly after the OnlyFans. It's the same with that fucking Prime as well. That Prime curse, you know, fighters who are sponsored by Prime. Oh, what was Dubois 17 when that sparring happened? Okay. I think Spencer's too shot, man. I think Spencer's too shot. Even low blows aside, I think Spencer's too shot. I think he'll get beat, and I think he'll get stopped as well. Did he actually? Eddie Hearn's a weirdo as well, man. Yep. Yeah, exactly. Devin Haney hasn't been the same since that P Diddy pool party. Bro, yeah, Ryan Garcia never took Devin's though. It's P Diddy. Yeah, I think so as well, bro. I think he'll get beat by Fundora. I think he'll more than likely get stopped as well. Like the size difference is going to be fucking insane. I basically agree. Spence reminds me of Josh Taylor, a guy who got past his opponents due to being bigger than them and being an A side. Yeah, pretty much agree. Both good fighters in their prime, but never pound for pound. I agree. I agree. Good fighters, but yeah, I agree. But I was quite put back with what I saw in that Crawford fight, how Spence was reacting to punches. Like he wasn't whatever the issue was, he wasn't right that night, in my opinion. His balance was so bad. Like Spence always had pretty good balance, but the balance in that fight was so bad to the point where he was getting knocked down by jabs. And every other punch just seemed to hurt him. I think he's done, personally. I think he's done. Yes, yeah, I agree. Spence is done. It's not going to end well for him if he continues. Yeah. Yeah. That P. Diddy and Meek Mill leaked audio was actually P. Diddy and Haney. I never heard that leaked audio, by the way, but yeah, all of these Hollywood people and music people, man. Yeah, they had Spence at like number 5, I think. Number 4, number 5 at the highest. They had him high. Yep, the crash, cocaine, opiates and liquor, bad food caught up with Errol Spence. Yeah. No. Do they actually? No. They can't do, surely. I thought he got fucking relegated. It wouldn't surprise me. Oh my god, they do as well. Number 7 on the list. Oh my god. I've not seen a Ring Magazine pound for pound ranking in ages. So Usyk is number 1. Inouye's number 2. Crawford number 3. Alvarez number 4. Beterbiev's number 5. Bivol number 6. Spence is number 7. Tank Davis is number 8. Jesse Rodriguez number 9. Junto Nakatani number 10. Looking at that list, you realise there's not 10 pound for pound level fighters in boxing in general. To be honest, as much as I like Beterbiev, he's not number 5. He shouldn't be number 5 on a pound for pound list. I'm sorry. That's crazy. Yeah, he had his moments, Nordic. I had it 7-5 in the end to Catterall. He had his moments, but I still don't think he looked to himself, man. The intensity weren't there. Like for me, it just looked like he was always forcing his work. Is the best way I can describe it. Like there wasn't the same dynamism to his game or intensity that there once was. He's just not quite the same fighter, in my opinion. Catterall was getting gas late on and was on the verge of quitting. The old Taylor with his inside pivots and spiteful body attack would have taken him out late. Possibly, yeah. And that's what I'm saying about the forced. If his work was forced, there wasn't as much variety to it. You know, it was like bull in the china shop type of aggression, but there was no subtleties like you were saying with the pivots and angles and things like that. There wasn't that sort of variety that we once used to see from Josh Taylor. Yeah, Spence is number 7, bro. That's crazy. Yeah, Junto Nakatani shouldn't be on there. Yeah, I agree. I rate Nakatani, but he's like a 5'8", 5'7", fucking bantamweight. He's massive. Yeah, there's not 10 pound for pound level guys. There's not. I agree. My pound for pound is like 6 guys: Usyk, Inoue, Crawford, Loma, Canelo, and Ioka. Yeah, there's not 10. There's not 10. Yeah, exactly. How can you be pound for pound if you never fight top 10 rated guys who are physically bigger than you? Or even the same fucking size would help. Yeah, Taylor looked like he was forcing everything. I agree. The effort was there, but he just wasn't pulling it off the same. Yeah, 117, 111 was fucking crazy. Jarrett Hurd was another one, yeah, but he was an even bigger example. Like, he was just size. Yeah, I agree, Achilles. Yeah, one thing boxing fans miss nowadays is being a multi-weight champion doesn't make you pound for pound. A weight bully moving up is just fighting guys the same size, yeah, or just slightly smaller kind of thing. Yeah, but you're right. It's like the Haney was the perfect example. Somebody can be undisputed. It doesn't mean they're pound for pound. You know, when you're beating like blown up featherweights and blown up super featherweights while you're like a welterweight, doesn't make you pound for pound. Like, I never had Taylor on my pound for pound list when he was undisputed. So it's not like a one. It's not just, oh, you're just saying it because it's Haney. I said the same for Josh Taylor. Josh Taylor was never a pound for pound guy. Yeah, another thing that impressed me about Taylor was his footwork. Unlike the first fight, Catterall was constantly stuck on the ropes from the ring being cut off on him, and nobody seems to notice it. But Catterall's movement was non-existent. He was constantly being shut down, but Taylor, for whatever reason, didn't execute. Lack of stamina from the weight cut, I would imagine. Yeah, yeah. He tried really hard in that fight, Taylor. But still, I don't see the same fighter that there once was. Yeah, and you see that in Catterall's style. So he was sparring like Floyd and Canelo from a very young age. Like, so he was in Canelo's camp for the Liam Smith fight, I think, and he was in Mayweather's camp for Pacquiao, I want to say. So yeah, he's had all that top sparring, Catterall, and you can see that in his game. He can spoil, he can roll with punches pretty well. He's got good defense. He's got pretty good defense. You can see that Catterall would be a useful sparring partner in like an elite training camp. That'd be fun. That'd be fun. I'd probably get banned, but that's another reason I can't lie. I don't fucking do live shit like with loads of people because I feel like I'd say shit and get banned or something. Usyk, Inoue, Crawford, Bivol, Beterbiev, top five. Loma, Canelo, Estrada, Kenshiro, Jesse Rodriguez, Ioka, top 10, 11, something like that. Yeah, I mean, yeah, the backhand of Jack Catterall couldn't really miss. But again, uh, you're right. I feel Taylor could have made adjustments to where he could have won that fight. But at the same time, that fight also to me goes to show the frustrations that I've always had with Jack Catterall because there was moments in that fight, like round 5 in particular, where Catterall would finally go through the gears, where he would really get on the jab and be fluid with it. He would throw combinations, and the way he throws combinations, when he lets punches go, his combinations are actually so fucking smooth. And when he sits down on his shots, he can generate power. There is real talent there with Catterall, but he's so low output. Not low. He's just he's too conservative. He's too conservative because there is real talent there with Catterall. Like the few occasions where he threw combinations, like how fluid those combos were, and the punches had no tell. Like he's got talent, Catterall, but he still strikes me as that sparring partner type of guy. I think it'd have been a very dangerous fight for Ward at 75. Probably not 68, but 75, yeah. I think it'd have been a very dangerous fight. Jay McFarlane, he would beat John Fury. Jay McFarlane actually has a chin. Yeah, I agree. I really think if he bit down on his gum shield, he could have dropped Taylor and maybe stopped him. His punches were having an effect, but there was no follow up. Yeah, same as the first fight, by the way. Like, not only did he drop Taylor first fight, but he buzzed him on numerous occasions, but he never follows up. But yeah, Catterall to me has always been a very frustrating fighter to watch because I see talent there. I'm not sure whether maybe he doesn't have faith in his gas tank because he's quite broad. He's quite broad. He's quite stocky. Maybe he doesn't have faith in his gas tank if he can't get you out of there. Maybe that's why he doesn't open up. Yeah, and I said this on I said this on BDA's channel during the live chat. Jack Catterall defensively actually pulls off the shoulder roll pretty well. Like when he was in the shoulder roll stance, he was actually doing a very good job of blocking a lot of Taylor's left hooks. And the left hook is a shot that is very. It's a good shot for a shoulder roll, but Catterall was able to still parry it with his glove in the shoulder roll stance. Yeah, Catterall's shoulder roll was pretty good. His shoulder roll is pretty good. The only thing with Catterall, though, in that shoulder roll, he doesn't really punch off that shoulder roll. So he doesn't turn with a punch and then come back with a straight left, for example, or he doesn't counter off that shoulder roll. That's the issue with Catterall. It's good in the defensive standpoint, but there needs to be counters off it. Yeah, I think it would come down to whether Catterall could hurt Pitbull or drop him, or because I think he'll be outworked in a lot of rounds, and I think he'll either need to hurt Pitbull or drop him to stay in that fight. But yeah, I've always found him very, very frustrating, Catterall. I've always found him very frustrating. But he's definitely one of the better defensive shoulder roll users in boxing now. Hearn is doing Catterall a disservice. I mean, I don't think so, man. He's a hard sell, BX22. He's a hard sell. I think any promoter's going to have a hard time selling Catterall. The biggest mistake that was made was that the rematch wasn't made straight away. If that rematch was made straight away after that first fight, it would have been a bigger fight. Yeah, he has struggled against that style in the past, Isaac Cruz. He has, yeah. Hearn's got 2 champions in Jack's division, and he can't get him a shot. They was always prioritizing that Taylor fight first, because I think they felt it was still a big fight. But again, it was left too long. But regardless, it seemed like they were chasing the Taylor fight. And they've had that fight, so now we'll see. Now the proof is going to be in the pudding. I think you'll see him fight maybe Matthias if Matthias beats Paro. Oh, well, the Matthias Paro winner. I think you'll see him fight the winner of that fight. Yeah, Hearn's a good promoter in the sense that he's good at marketing, but the man doesn't understand boxing and gets his guys into fights they can't win or are horrible style matches, I agree. Tio versus Catterall, I actually think it'll be a dull fight because both guys are natural counterpunchers. I think that'll be quite a dull fight. I think Tio, or I'd say Catterall, get Catterall in there with Matthias, because Matthias will make him fight. Yeah, Haney Martin is a perfect example of her not understanding boxing. It's going to be a very boring fight, which will hurt Haney's momentum, which is all gone now. Yeah, and we all know how that fight's going to play out. Haney UD in a dull, dreadful fight. Gustavo Lemos versus Isaac Cruz, great fight. I'd watch it. That's a tear up. That is proper tear up. Steve Claggett rhymes with. There you go. Awful fight. He might be a Mando, to be fair. He might be a Mando. I think Sandor Martin is a Mando because Martin beat. Who did he beat? He beat somebody. I forget. I don't even know what he's done. But it's a shit fight. It's a shit fight. It's a shit fight. He looked terrible, bro. At 135, he looked chubby. He looked slower. The volume was not as impressive. Again, he looked like a guy who was forcing his work. He doesn't belong at 135. He's lost it. But even at 130 against what's his name, Brazilian guy Robson Conceição, even in that fight, he didn't look as good. Maybe he's gone one or two weight classes too high. But again, he was another guy who relied a lot on his size. He was another guy who relied a lot on his size, and now he's in a higher weight class. Maybe this is how it ends. Yeah, that's a good point as well, Duck. Yeah. Might be a boring fight, but it makes the most sense to me. Tio beat Taylor after the controversial fight versus Catterall. Seems like that fight should happen, yeah. You can argue, yeah, that's a good fight. I mean, it's a good reason. Catterall's going to run all night against Tio, lose on points, and complain saying he was robbed. You heard it here first. Yeah, I can see that as well. It'd be similar to like the fight with the last guy Tio fought, Jermaine Ortiz, because he was crying that he got robbed. He never got robbed. Tio won that fight, but you know, a guy does a bit of movement and boxing fans jerk off, even though he may throw like one jab every 6 rounds. They'll jerk off and say he won the fight. A cute guy, what's up? Nick Ball. You got Nick Ball over Rayford. That's a good fight, though. I got Rayford, but it's a good fight. But anyway, guys, I need to wrap it up. I got an early start tomorrow. Got to go in the office, so I've got to wrap it up. I didn't mean to go this long, to be honest. I didn't mean to go this long, but yeah, I'm going to wrap it up here. And yeah, I'll try and get a couple more predictions out before the weekend. We'll see what happens. I'll try and get a Hrgovic, Dubois, Dubum prediction out. Possibly Rayford versus Nick Ball as well. We shall see what we can do. But yeah, have a great rest of your week, guys. I'm jumping off here. Peace out. Have a good one.